Good evening, race fans, and welcome to BSTV. You've joined us again for the TCR Challenge Cup. This is season 13. Can you believe that? 13 seasons of this wonderful league. And this is rounds 19 and 20, and we are at whatever I've typed in there, which is clearly wrong. Virginia International Raceway. The full circuit that should read. I think I've put a few extra vowels in there just for good measure. It's that good. I've added in a few extras. It's quite a warm track. It's 42 degrees. So it's going to be quite hot for the racers, but not as hot as it is in the booth because I've got Sir Alan of Toon. You can chase his knightly lineage back to Charlemagne. Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Pete. Good evening, my friends. And here I am. I was just having a quick doodle there. Now, it's because I was distracted by this fantastic plan of VIR. Because what a place it is, Pete. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, I love this track. I've been probably more successful here, even though I like other tracks better. I've probably been more successful here than anywhere else on iRacing. It's a big favourite of mine. I think I won a race here.
Really?
Yeah. I've also I'm notorious at VIR for pitting with a track layout that goes all into the infield because there is one. I pitted into the wrong pit lane because it's very easy to do, in my opinion. Right, what's going on here? We've got Freddie on the chat. I'll be replacing Alex as a viewer. Why are you not racing, Freddie? Have you got stuff on? So let's go racing forces. Yes, that's what Alex usually types into the chat. Will he be dropping? Will I be dropping back in the Safe Driver Awards night from Fiona? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see what's going on in this session at the moment, though. We are in which bit of our evening? We are in our practice session. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes of that to go before we go to qualifying. As we see Stephen Walker doing a practice pit stop there. Interestingly, Miguel Freitas not on top. He's usually doing the fastest laps around here. Maybe that'll come yet. But Gary Craig at the minute, Alan, is lighting up the top of the timing tower.
Fantastic. Well, you know, we don't see that very often, do we? There's Gary in the purple. Fantastic that by him. And,
Absolutely.
He's really got some blistering pace in the last few weeks. Honestly, Pete, he's flying.
Yep, he is. We've got 18 races tonight. As you can see on your screens, we welcome the return of Jamie Jeffrey in that unicorn-powered Elantra. Who else has rejoined us? This boy, Alex Sevillano-Lado, usually flying the flag on the chat, but that's been substituted tonight for Freddie Van Eekhoven. This is Alex's debut in the Veloster. So let's hope he can convert that into something good. He's doing all right so far. Freddie says, I'm in Belgium with the family. Oh, right, okay. He's on his... oh, what? We're supposed to be in a hot air balloon. Oh. But he's not because the weather wasn't good. Oh, welcome to Dan. Dan Mould, who's usually in SRL, which is now, I think, SRG or JPG or something. They've changed the title of it, but it's no less a furious TCR league. That's on a Friday evening, so if you're interested, they've just started. And Gary Craig, top of our timing tower at the minute, is defending his title in that one. So he was last season's SRL champion. He's now defending it for JP whatever. I'm sure it'll get corrected in the chat by Dan. But more than welcome. Good evening. So, who else is returning to the fold tonight? Who else wasn't here the last time? Still no Wobbly, so everybody's safe. Michael Seal. He's not on track at the minute. He's not on track at the minute. Yeah. But Virginia, Alan, we'll wait to go on board with anybody until we get into the qualifying session. But it's got some lovely features, this track, isn't it? And it can bite and kill you at various different points.
Oh, it's well, you know, it's full of character, isn't it?
Right.
It flows like nobody's business, but it can catch you out. It's got those unsighted. Oh, look at that! There's beautiful cars here. Look at that. Yeah, you've got incredible hairy bends,
Mm-hmm.
incredible hairy descents. You have to mind your braking, and you have to just make sure that you pull away from the corners. You do, because if you get a bad release from one of these sections, you're going to lose it all along these long straights.
Yeah, you will. And you're right, that preparation for long straights, obviously it's important on any track, but here, where the straights go on for about 3 weeks, it makes it even more important. Dan says he may go and pour himself a whiskey now based on your influence on him.
Well,
I think that's only civilised, don't you?
I think that's very wise.
Yeah. That's
Cheers.
a good choice. Good choice. As everybody piles out of pit road in order to put their laps on the board. Fastest man in practice was Gary Craig, in no rush to get to the front. He's obviously trying to choose himself a nice bit of whiskey and TCR racing, what a combo. And Dan says he's not racing, so there'll be no whiskey and driving tonight from Dan Mould, at least. But it'd be great to have you in the league again, Dan. So if your Wednesdays get freed up a little more, and you've got it in your ability to join us, you're more than welcome to do so.
It would fit in here like a hand in a glove.
He would, yes. He is super fast, and it'd be good to see him alongside these super fast guys as well. So let's talk about the standings. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible because I want to do an on-board lap. So our standings as they are now. We're in the right-hand column again, folks, because we've got drop scores now after we passed our halfway point. Dan says Bleeze is going to be up there. Bleeze is always up there, apart from when he's not and he crashes or gets pit lane penalties, because that sometimes happens. Miguel is your championship leader at the moment on 1,051. Now, he's not that far ahead of Spencer, who's on 960, but Spencer's had a couple of weeks in the sun. So that lead will get eroded, I think, Alan. Sorry, not eroded. It'll grow massively, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting a nice tan.
Oh, he's getting a lovely tan, but it's not doing anything for his points in the series. Sam Blease is in third currently, and I think on the basis of this race week, he will overtake his sister teammate.
Has he got 932, and Spencer's the same 960, 960.
Yeah, because they've had a drop round up to this point already, so they've not got an extra race in the pool. Otherwise, they would be like Miguel with extra points in the left-hand column. Right. Gary Craig has never missed a race, so his points columns are different. So he's dropped around, and he's on 871 points. We see Gary doing this every race season. He stealths his way to the top. Nearly won it last season based on that tactical performance. And then we'll just ignore the guy in fifth because nobody wants to talk about that. He's not here. Right, so team standings. Impulse Racing romping away to a Miguel orchestrated victory. Hopefully, one of the other teams can give them a run to that line. Hydro Race, Geodesic Racing White are posing the strongest challenge at the moment. That's Sam Blease and Stephen Walker. For those who thought I got that wrong just then, Stephen Walker is racing Geo White this season as opposed to Spectre. BSTV are in third on 1,549. I don't know that Adam, I've not seen him on the timing chart, so no, Adam's not here this evening to support Gary. He's racing his Clio, I think, in real life at the weekend, so he's doing all things Clio. And then we've got Safeguard and Hydro Race Geodesic Racing in fourth and fifth. Let's talk about driver of the meeting because it's important, very important. We've got a tied top spot at the moment with Jamie Wilson and Miguel sharing that top spot. In joint third is Lee Bowden and Freddie Van Eekhoven. Freddie on the chat, not in a car. And then a whole bag full of people bringing up what would be fifth place. And then another important addition to this season is the Safe Driver Award. Sir Alan's Safe Driver Award. And taking away your trophy at the moment is still Jamie Jeffrey. With Fiona in second place, but closing that gap very, very quickly and Gary Craig not far behind both of them, Alan.
No, and great driving by everybody, actually. These, I think there's some fine performances there, isn't there?
Definitely. You've got to say that Fiona has improved magnificently season on season in the car. And to be as safe as she's clearly demonstrating after 3,914 turns, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
You know, Gary has done another, 53 laps, albeit at a slightly faster rate, obviously. But to be as competitive as Gary in this particular trophy, that's a standout effort. That.
Yeah, I really think so. Because, like you say, he's like Jamie. He's so often right in the thick of things.
Yes, definitely.
And he's got no choice. You know, he's got to be have eyes in the back of his head. And yeah, I don't know how they do it, to be honest. You know,
no, it's miraculous. Right, let's pick on someone. They're going past the alternate pit road there, not the only alternate. There's another one on the infield, like I said, which I once pitted in. So we'll jump on board here with Sam Blease. He's not the fastest man on track at the minute. That is Miguel. But there's others staging a charge. Now your fast lap starts about here because you're building pace a couple of corners before the end. This is Hogpen, which is the last proper corner on the track. You'll see cars going off wide to the left there. It's inevitable around here at Virginia. And then you storm over the start-finish straight, or the front straight as it's called at this track. And then you head into the horseshoe. Yes, this track has a horseshoe, although if your horse had a foot this shape, you would probably put a bullet in its head, because it's not shaped like a horseshoe at all. Then you go through this series of turns before we come to what they call NASCAR bend. That's this turn here. You carry a lot of speed through this, funnily enough. Don't hit the curb on the inside, and certainly don't get on the outside like Sam nearly did there. Is this Sam? Yeah. And then left hook was that last one, and it does pack a punch. You go through 5 and 5A. You've got to get in the right gear at the right speed to launch yourself onto this. It's critical, because this little S section leads onto one of the biggest straights, and it's uphill after a while. You go up here through these S's. The key one is the top one. So carrying speed through this, and then you're coasting the car through this left-hander. Get a bit of curb, don't run too far out, because it will sail you off into the tundra. And then you're into Oak Tree. This is the tightest bend in the world, it feels like, when you're racing it. Take as much curb as you like there, really. There's no penalty. And then that turn that you've just been round, Oak Tree, leads you on to the most important straight. It's this one. It is massive. It goes on for just about forever. Madison Avenue, down the back straight, drafting absolute paradise, and then you end up here onto the roller coaster. Yeah, another track with a roller coaster from America. Funny that. And then you come piling down the hill, and you're back where we started, and into this very tricky. It feels off camber, all of this. It's not. It's flat or with camber, but it feels like you're going to get spat out at any point. And that is a very basic, uneducated lap of this track.
Yes.
I've always liked this track. I've loved it.
It's fantastic. It's a challenge, honestly.
Yeah.
You've got snaky bits that are trying to chuck you off. You've just got to get perfect exits, because you just if you don't get a good exit onto those straights, you're baked. You're just watching your time disappear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's murder, and you know, the linking parts are tricky as anything.
They are.
The technical sections, short but sharp. And yeah, when you get a lot of cars going through these all at pace, it can get very, very tasty.
Very, very much so. And at the moment, 1 second covers the top 8 cars, sorry. I can't count. There's not much separating the first 3, though. Only 0.17 of a second between Miguel and Stephen and Gary. So lots to race for here. Lots of opportunity. Who is your money on, Alan, do you think?
Yeah,
Is it
well,
Miguel for a dominating win, or is he going to get schooled by Gary Craig, or can the
so
Geo boys do something?
last week, Miguel uh, qualified in first, didn't he? And
He did.
drove away in the first race. Then the second did that amazing drive through the whole field with that really exciting end bit as he goes down Stephen.
Yep.
And the slowdown right at the crucial moment.
I know,
Absolutely riveting stuff. So you can never say Miguel's not going to do it. That's for sure. We know he's got the pace. The person you would stack up against him to maybe give him the best shot would be Spencer, who's not here, of course, and
True.
Stephen. Now, Stephen is a match for anybody, and so. And look at the pace that Gary's got, and Sam, you can't count any of these out.
No, and I'm just looking at Gary's sector times, and I think he's about to do something very impressive. Either that or I've got it very, very incorrect. Oh, he's gone second, but he's only gone second by 0.06 of a second. I was watching his timing screens lighting up purple.
Times.
Very, very impressive times.
57.4s.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Magic. That's magic.
Isn't it just? So yeah, it's one of those. Let's see if I can.
We're not used to seeing Gary really going head to head with the likes of Stephen and Miguel.
No,
at the top of the field. Normally it would be what, fourth, fifth, something like that.
Yes.
And maybe a tenth off the pace or something.
Yep.
Mind you, but significant. And no, there's nothing holding him back tonight.
No, he's got that Veloster absolutely hooked up. Who else is doing well? Rob Sharp. Very fast time so far.
Yes,
not
and
far off the
I
leaders.
think he's a bit of a dark horse, Rob.
Yeah.
He's proving himself to have some serious pace, and apart from a bit of misfortune, I think we can expect to see him performing well, and I hope he's back next season and ornamenting the series again, because I think he's got wins inside him without any doubt at all.
Oh yeah, he joined us late in the season, so his position in the league, if you happen to have a look, is not representative of his ability, even into Ant Woodward, even though he's actually driving his car, which is impressive either way. Where is he in the stand?
Well,
no, he's not. No, he's not. He's in pit road. He's not put a time in, so I don't know that he's going to participate at all or start from the pits, maybe. We need an explanation there. Dan's money is definitely on Sam Blease, but I don't know how many of these races Dan's seen this season. Let's have a look who else. Where's Alex Lado when all this is going on? Alex is in 7th. That's a good time, actually, as soon as it's his first race.
That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, in that Racing Forces, Hydra race, Racing Forces.
58, I mean, I know we've got 57s up there, and that puts everything in the shade a bit, but, 58's a damn fine lap round here.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a trip down nostalgia road here, Alan. Mark Draper's on the chat now as well.
Another one that could be on the tarmac.
Exactly. I know he has stuff to do, like dancing with his daughters and stuff. But yeah, he should be back in this league. It's I think Wednesdays are a bit of a problem for him, but yeah, he's another of the super fast that could be up here, racing with the likes of Gary and Stephen and Sam and Miguel.
Very nice to see him in the chat.
Yep, it really is. Yeah, it's good to have some of these guys. Oh, his wheel's broken. Okay, well that's about done that one then. And he's skint. He's so skint he can't get a keyboard that can type it right. Oh, he's corrected it. There we go. Well, you had kids, mate, so that's your problem. That sounds like a you problem to me. But yes, where are we going here? That's why I kept with cats, Alan. My hobbies were too expensive, so I'm too selfish. Right, so Michael Seal, he's back with us again. There he is in that Result Clothing Honda. So he's been very quick this season. Yeah.
Not as I've got any prejudices or biases at all.
No,
Of course not.
of course not.
No,
We're completely impartial, and we agree that wobbly is the source of all evil. But there you go. Pit road. Pit road. We need to have a chat about pit road. It's a bit more difficult than you expect because of the speed that you approach it at. So we've got who's anybody in the pit road at the minute? I did see Jamie Jeffrey peel off into pit road, but that's about that. It does need a bit of practice.
Anybody out? These are shrewd with the pit lane, aren't they? These are some of the smartest operators with pit lanes you'll ever see.
Even then, we've seen Sam Blease get it wrong.
Oh no, I mean it can go wrong for anybody, can't it? You know, that's why that whole sector's in there. I mean, it causes a real point of interest in the race, doesn't it? But
it does.
You know, for us, for everybody, you know, it's really when the cars are going in there, anything can happen. It often does.
It does. Right.
You get turnarounds and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I'll run us through our starting grid here at Virginia IE because I spelt it wrong. Miguel Freitas will lead us away for Impulse Racing. Sam Blease will be off second for Hydro Race Geodesic Racing White. Gary Craig will go off third for BSTV. Stephen Walker will go off behind his teammate in fourth. Rob Sharp will go off fifth for Fiercely Forward. Alex Sabellano-Lado will go off sixth for Hydro Race Racing Forces, with Jamie Jeffrey off seventh for CCR. Lee Bowden will go off eighth for Safeguard by Result, and Carl Hardy, his teammate, will be next to him on the grid in ninth. 10th will be JB. That's a good result for JB for BSTV Esports Blue. 11th will be Tony Walker. 12th will be Demis Ticcilar for Hydro Race Racing Forces. Where am I up to? 13th will be Michael Seal for Result Clothing. Jimmy Wilson will go 14th for Team Chimera. 15th will be Charles Walsh. Alejandro Advani will go off 16th. 17th will be Fiona Siddons for Matthews Logistics with Vapors Mansfield. And Ant Woodward has gridded and he's starting 18th Never Quit Racing. We're not allowed to say Never Quit Racing anymore because he's not done it for a while. So we'll focus on the front of the grid here. We'll see if we've got a better view. That's a little bit better. And we are getting ready to race. Lights are coming on. 3, 2, 1, and... Oh, it's held them for quite a while there. And we're gone. Pretty even at the very front here, but a little bit behind. Stephen Walker with not a very good start. He's going to lose one. He's done well on the brakes, though. Alex around the outside. Look at Alex Lado go. Oh, there's a crash behind. That's Tony Walker. Oh, now they've straightened each other out. That's nice. I like that. Oh, Charles Walsh.
Self-righting cars. Beautiful.
I know, yeah, we need more of them. Charles Walsh's, the front of that Audi is missing bits. I would suggest that they're quite integral to the aero of that car. Gary Craig. And why is Miguel all the way back here? He was the pole man. He's in third at the moment, looking at my screen. About to be second, and oh wow, we got a queue. It's as Dan called it. Sam Blease is away at the races, so we've obviously missed something watching other shenanigans, and it obviously involved Miguel. Now they're sorted out into a line. So we are going to go back and have a look at all that. I might have to do it in a very strange way. Charles Walsh has just overtaken this man, Alejandro Advani. Can't think why. Watch out, Fiona.
Look out.
Yeah.
Wicked corners and cold tyres.
Very wicked and very cold. Oh, Alex Lado trying to take back a position from Jamie Jeffrey. He's not going to find that easy. And Gary Craig is making a move. I'm going to have to move up to it. He's making a move on Miguel here. Staying wide. Miguel's got the optimal line, and look at Stephen Walker having a sniff. What happened back here with these two? Nothing. Jamie Jeffrey kept the position. Okay.
That's brave looking at even putting pressure on Miguel around there, isn't it? Goodness me.
Oh yeah. I mean, Gary's clearly got the pace to do something with Miguel this week, and I definitely think that Sam Blease has. He's got a 2-second lead. 2 seconds.
Wow, look at that. Oh,
and Gary Craig's having another pop at Miguel. This is excellent work. And they're kind of queuing up here around this Honda.
Oh, this is some kind of driving, isn't it? Look at this.
And Stephen wants
He's
to
got
help
it.
Gary go a bit faster.
He's always helpful.
He's always helpful. Tony Walker nearly got passed there by Jamie, I think it was. Oh, no, he did. He passed him. This is a hectic race already.
Well,
I love Virginia.
But you know what, these 20 minutes, sprint race, it really is a sprint, isn't it? You know, from start to finish.
Just bonkers.
They come out with traps and they just go crazy. Look with Savage. He's raced away.
He's almost in a different county. It's just ridiculous. Look at the size of the gap he's got. It's amazing. I bet he's giggling in that helmet. Simulated helmet, obviously. Right, let's see if I can get back to the beginning and just see if anything bad happened to Miguel. I'm going to go back to this. Ignore who I initially focus upon. And then oh, right, this is right at the start. Okay. Right, it must have been right near the beginning. I'll keep an eye on the timing tower and let you know if anything's going on. At the minute, Alex is... no, he's not. Right, so Miguel...
Gonna time up round here.
Miguel's in the lead at this point. Sam is in second. Gary's in third. Everything's fine. Sun's shining.
All made a good start.
Yeah, and then Sam down the inside. Miguel drifts and drifts and drifts, and Gary's like, yep, I'm having a bit of that. And I think that is all it was. Innocuous at best. And then Sam Blees, clearly sandbagging all the way through practicing quali, has decided he's off to the races. So,
well, you know, these two are definitely not making the progress they would do if they weren't side by side going through that section.
No. So this is.
I mean, he doesn't hold back, does he?
No.
If anyone man could see opportunity, it's Sam Blees, and of course he's gone. But the racing he's left behind is sensational.
It is. This is Jamie trying to leave a Tony Walker out of that position he's taken from him, but it's not working at the moment. All right, let's look a little bit further forward. We've got Demis and JB having a good old scrap back here. Demis has had some inappropriate touching on the back of that Audi, I think. It's all crinkled up. You'll see it when the car passes the camera. There you go. You see it's all got a little sneer.
Crumpled zone.
Oh, JB! Oh, he's going to be miles off the track. Oh no, that's quite a good recovery.
Hey, what a rejoin!
I know. Slotted that back in like you were saying, fits like a glove. That was Jamie Wilson's not going to be very impressed, but you know. Right, a bit further forward here. Yeah.
Yes, well, you know, look at Rob.
Yeah.
Is he going to be holding off Jamie? Because this is an interesting contest of everyone.
Yeah, this is. I'm just looking a bit further down the track there. I can see these three. Gary's not being dropped by Miguel yet. And hopefully they can make a race of this for our entertainment, of course.
Well, they're working on getting Sam back.
Yeah, Stephen Walker needs to have his fingers chopped off for flashing his lights, just make that clear. And Stephen Walker is the fastest man on track on a 1:57.474.
It's another 57 in the fours.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness me, it's tight, isn't it?
Good evening to Anthony Jacobson, another one that could be racing in the league.
Good evening, Anthony.
Yeah, we're stacking them up in the in the chat. They're just
the fish aren't biting.
No, not yet. Hopefully they'll see this and think, yeah, got to race this one next season. Carl Hardy is in a little world of his own at the moment, is he? No, it's not him. It's Lee Bowden. Yeah. Same team, different car.
Well, he's chasing after his team captain there.
Yeah, he is.
They're normally a very similar pace, so you often see them running together.
Yes. JB, I think, has had some other some indiscretions. I think he's at the back now, nearly. Falling a bit further. Maybe those tyres on the Elantra are a bit more challenging. As Jamie Wilson
Michael's still chasing as well. So,
yes.
Yes. So he'll be wanting to keep in front of Michael as well. We've got challenges front and rear. But JB's got really good pace. Yes, I think he's driving exceptionally well, and it's a shame to see that he's slipped back. But he's running really well with some very quick drivers.
I mean, Jamie Jeffrey, hats off to you. That was probably save of the century. I think that was probably more technical and more wild than I expected it to be.
This track is very deceptive, I think.
Yeah,
I always think it looks a lot milder. When you see it there, it doesn't look the threatening monster it is under the skin.
No, definitely not. Gary Craig setting the fastest lap and switching places with Miguel now. He was just for a second there anyway. I was going to say, can Alex get any closer to the steering wheel of Jamie's car? He was that close. Carl Hardy's doing well here, isn't he?
He's he's going to be well happy in this tow. He'll be taking any opportunity that he can because he'll have eyes on stalks because he knows that these two will be going at it.
Yeah, and Alex Lado we know is fast. Jamie Jeffrey we also know is fast, and in the real world as well. He's a real world racer.
I think Lee's going to close up now that Carl's a bit stuck behind these two. I don't know how you're going to get past these two.
No.
It's going to be tough.
For your information, Sam Blease is not as far ahead as he was before. The cars behind have sorted themselves out and are doing blisteringly fast laps. And he had a bad one last time.
Gary's there again. What a lap by Gary. But,
yep.
This is fantastic driving by the guys.
What's that? 157.433, that is. Good grief.
I mean, how many fastest laps have we had in the 57.4s?
No.
That's a stack of them. This is creeping down the halls. This will be a 4.32 any second.
This group here are inseparable at the moment as Jamie Wilson pulls out on Tony Walker. He's on the wrong side of the track though. Oh, where's Ann Woodward? There, yeah, okay.
JB and
Ann. Alex! Dear me. That's Alex round. We'll have a quick look at that again because that was worth seeing again.
Hopefully his car's okay.
Yeah, there's a few other bits and pieces going on at the minute.
What happened here?
So they both go into the roller coaster together. Oh, I'm not sure there wasn't some solid air in that. They looked further apart than I thought. I think there was going to be contact at some point, but
yes. Hopefully, his car should be okay anyway.
Yeah, JB and Ant Woodward. This little group has shuffled themselves around a little.
This is great by JB. He's running with Ant, and there's Jamie.
Yep.
This is great driving by JB to be running with these guys.
Jamie Jeffrey.
Jamie.
Now he's slowing to let somebody through, I think, or he was, or did he have an actual slowdown? He may have had an actual slowdown. He's waiting for Alex Savillano.
Waiting for Alex.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what's happening anyway. I think we'll see a pass there in the not too distant. This is something else that this league has as a pedigree, which is fair and safe driving. And when we do get some minor indiscretions, they are often repaid very quickly. Right, so what's going on at the very front? There's some gaps forming. But, critically, Sam Blease's lead is reducing very quickly.
Yes, well, Miguel is clearly setting about catching Sam up and is exerting his full pace, and that's just been sufficient to create just the slightest gap between him and Gary.
Yeah, and there it is, folks. Jamie Jeffrey has handed the position back to Alex Lado.
Yeah, well done.
Well done. Massive round of applause there for that wonderful sportsmanship.
You just don't see that in a lot of leagues. It's fantastic. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
And clappity clap.
Clappity clap it is. Right, so what's going on this top group at the moment? Gary's holding his own here. He's doing a really good job of staying.
He really is.
Yeah.
He really is, because, you know, these are the cream of the crop in front of it. And they're going at it hammer and tongs there. They're absolutely flying at each other. Miguel's desperate to pull Sam back. He's not going to be happy with Sam in front of him at all. He's desperate. You know, this is like absolutely man against man. And look at this hill. These corners just wonderful. You come up here, it's blind, you can't see where you're going, and the road dips away. That
one there is just, if you're even a few inches offline, all of a sudden there's a whole lot of grass that you're driving on, and it goes on forever.
It goes on forever, yeah.
A little bit wide there from both Miguel and from Gary at that point on the track. I think Jamie Jeffrey and Alex Lado are going to get together again shortly, looking at the Delta screen on the left there. Let me put up a map for everybody so they can see where people are on track. The map's not working. That's good, isn't it? Don't know why it's not working.
Oh, so down to half a second.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great driving by Miguel.
Yeah, JB's been off track for a little excursion. Clearly saw some flowers he wanted to pick or something. I don't know.
That's a shame.
I know, yeah.
Because his pace is fantastic tonight. He's very
and if you look, if you look at the times there, it looks like Sam Blease has been caught. Yes. So in the toe and through, maybe he's had a mistake on that lap actually, because he was half a second slower than his best, and that's a massive amount around here.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I think that was a multi-21. Carl Hardy and Lee Bowden. Let's just have a quick look at this. The toe is mega around here, says Mark Draper. I thought the toe had been not eliminated, but it had been significantly reduced.
Yeah.
But that was a massive let go by Carl Hardy. He said to Lee Bowden, go for it, and let him go. Unless he had a slowdown. You can pick up a slowdown in the S's at the end of the lap, so let's assume it's that. Alex Lado has... No, he hasn't been overtaken by Jamie. He's still behind him at the moment, but there was a bit of an exchange at the end of that lap. Let's see what's going on here, because Miguel is draft training, or drafting rather, Sam Blease. No draft train yet, because Gary Craig is some way off the back now. Didn't get a good launch out of Oak Tree, clearly. And Michael Seal has just passed Charles Walsh further back, and they're kind of exchanging positions a little.
Michael's doing a recovery drive. He's got fast pace.
Yeah, that's because Charles Walsh is recorded as being out of the race at the moment.
Oh.
Which is odd. I think he's still on track.
His lap's still moving. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a look at that in a minute. I wonder if Miguel's going to try anything into this first turn, this oddly shaped horseshoe. No.
Of course, Miguel dragged Gary up with him. Gary managed to hang on with Miguel going at full tilt.
Well, whatever they're going to do, they've only got 3 laps to do it, which is 2 laps in this car. So I think this may well be the penultimate lap. I'm not convinced of that, obviously.
The captain Stephen as well, so looks like Stephen's stepping
Walsh.
before.
I think Charles Walsh has had a disconnect because he's not on track anywhere. So I think his internet's crapped out on him.
Oh man, it's awful when that happens.
Yeah, that'll be a shame if that is what has happened there. I've not got him resetting or anything. That's the thing. It's like he's just vanished off the face of the earth.
Look how close the cars are still together after 20 minutes of absolutely mad flat-out racing.
Well, this is where the action is.
Well, this bit of it anyway.
Well, yeah.
Look at Stephen. See, this isn't Stephen's. That's a bit too casual and relaxed off the back there, just sitting there. It's clear now. just settling for his 4th place.
I think
3 little Indians in a row.
Yep. Ant Woodward has played a blinder in this one. He's up 7 places from the start. He did start from completely motherless last. And he's done well to get ahead of JB, who, by the way, JB is holding the reverse pole position at the moment.
Well, they're back together now, weren't they? This was when they had the trouble. They were actually running with. Alejandro and Jamie before, weren't they?
They were.
So everyone's getting back together. It just shows that the pace is good throughout the field still. Look at this. We've still got 58 right down at the back there. Astonishing quick, because this is a tough old track to be fast on. Sub 2 minute laps and just loads of them. Easy peasy.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sam Blease now will be feeling lots of hot breath on the back of his neck, because he's got 2 cars in tow now. I'm watching that Jamie Jeffrey Alex Lado battle, because that's been raging all race long, and it's still going on right to the very end here. Is that Jamie Walker and Jamie Wilson and Tony Walker, just spoonerised their names. JB and Ant Woodward both together having a race. These two having a race.
It's 4 days having a
It's ridiculous. This league is brilliant. This league is. Oh no, that's going to be curtains, I think, for Sam Blease's lead, because Miguel surely he's got a monster draft to get. Maybe up alongside. He's going to the less than favourable side in the roller coaster at the top of the hill here. So let's see what happens here.
And helpless. He's gritting his teeth and gnashing his
so impressive. So impressive.
There's absolutely nothing he can do about that.
No, he came off Oak Tree badly. And he's about to get swamped by Gary Craig now as well. Although Gary didn't do Hog Pen very well that time round.
No, I think I have to let him off, actually.
Yeah.
But just... if you don't get a great exit, and that's a tough old corner. I know we haven't got our tree anymore, and, sadly missed and much lamented, the tree.
Look at that. Gary on the brakes is impressive. That is brilliant. Very nice.
This is as well as I've ever seen Gary driving.
Do you know what? I think that's probably one of Miguel's toughest fights to the front, I think. He's had to haul in. I don't know how many seconds Sam Blease's lead went out to, but he's brought him in and passed him. Very, very impressed.
Yes. That takes some doing, doesn't it?
Oh, very much so.
You want to, as soon as I saw him catch up with Sam, I thought Sam's days were numbered.
Right, this
I
is...
just got that impression. It's just, the way he's been, the mixed pace just has been so amazing, and his overtaking form in the last few weeks, he's just been really very much an unstoppable force.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Alejandro Advani, but he's had to visit pit road. I think he's underfueled the car.
Oh, no.
So this is it now. This is it. If they don't do it now, they won't do, because this is the last lap.
Can Sam get it back? Can he do the same move?
He's closing.
Back onto Miguel.
He is closing, and Gary's closing on the pair of them. He's visible.
Miguel got a better exit from the corner.
He did.
Of course, and that's how telling it is.
Stephen Walker, massively efficient on those brakes. That's very impressive.
And it's amazing how Stephen's taken in a lot of that slack very quickly, hasn't he?
Yeah. Like huge amounts of it. But this is how we're going to finish. Unless Gary, the finish line is further down the track here. Miguel's celebrating. Gary's busy trying to get round Sam Blease. He's nearly alongside him, and that was a very impressive finish. Right, let's go to the next. We're going to the hottest battles. So, Tony Walker and Jamie. Jamie's overcome that battle, and he's ahead down there. So JB finishes ahead of Ant Woodward. Ant Woodward will be pole.
Performance.
It is absolutely blistering.
By everybody there, fantastic.
Alex Lado
Just
stays
keep
ahead of
driving.
Jamie. Yeah.
Because this is a tough drive, and yeah, it's not like Over's been absolutely right on it, haven't they tonight? They've
Oh
straight
yeah.
from the get-go, it was full on.
I am super impressed with the field. Mark Draper says great racing, and he's not wrong. Alejandro Advani bringing it home after an impromptu visit to the pits with 1 lap to go. And if he's not careful, that is Fiona in the background, so Alejandro needs to keep it clean, otherwise he's going to hand points across to Fiona. And here is the Matthews Logistics with the Vapors Mansfield car.
Come on, Fee, bring her home.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I thought I heard crashing then. I think I did.
Oh, crikey, don't say that.
No, I did. And I think it was Alejandro because his gap is reduced by over half a second. I think he got that a bit wrong. But he's managed to keep it on the grey stuff over the line.
Well done.
Honestly, I don't know where Charles Walsh went. He's not in the pits. He's not anywhere. I don't understand what's happened to him.
Well, you know, VIR, isn't this one of the famous kidnapped by alien centers of America?
It is, but we were hoping that the X-Files wouldn't visit us this evening. Right, so your race has been won by Miguel Freitas for round 19 here at VIR for Impulse Racing with an amazingly hard-fought victory over Sam Blees initially for Hydro Race Jurassic Racing White in second, and rounding out the podium, Gary Craig for BSTV, who put up a monster fight with Miguel right at the start and kept pressure on the top two all the way through. Very impressed. Stephen Walker finished fourth, not too far back from the top three for Hydro Race Jurassic Racing White, so their points are going to contribute well to bringing the gap down to Impulse at the top of the standings. Rob Sharp finished fifth. He stealthed that, you know. He quietly made his way into fifth there, I think, don't you?
Yeah, because he just had the edge on pace, and he just managed to keep that gap that was there, and he managed to inhabit that gap. And I think he had a bit of trouble earlier on, didn't he?
Yeah, he
with,
did.
Jamie, and yeah,
And
great driving.
That has to be Stephen Walker that's practicing his starts there, because yeah, it will be, won't it? Where's he gone? Where's Stephen Walker in my standings there? Let me see if it is him. Yeah, it is. Because I did wonder. Right, anyway, going through the rest. Carl Hardy finished sixth for Safeguard by Result, followed by his teammate Lee Bowden, so that position was reversed before the end of the race. Demis Tixolar finished eighth for Hydro Race Racing Forces. Jamie Wilson finished ninth for Team Chimera. That's a good result given where he started. Tony Walker finished 10th for... well, he's a privateer in this one. I keep wanting to say Spectre 6, you see. JB Dejoux finished 11th for BSTV Sports Blue, and will start on the front row in the next race because we've got a reverse 12 next to Ant Woodward for Never Quit Racing. Jamie Jeffrey, Alex Sevillano finished in 13th for Racing Forces. Jamie Jeffrey finished 14th for CCR. Michael Seal finished 15th for Result Clothing. Alejandro Advani finished 16th. But I think he should have finished higher up based on the fact that he had an impromptu visit to pit road. 17th was Fiona Siddons for Matthews Logistics with Vapors Mansfield. And Charles Walsh, I don't know what happened there, but he didn't finish.
But we've sent out search parties. We
have, and we want to know that he's going to be doing this later.
Please wait, mate. We're racing.
We're racing, so yeah. I'm sure he will be back. It'd be a shame for him not to. He drove for most of that with no front bumper on that Audi, so...
yeah, I'm sure if he can get back, he will do, Pete.
Yeah, definitely.
It's probably a technical thing. We've been getting the odd one, haven't we?
We have, yeah. And we saw some great sportsmanship in that race. It was worth calling out. So Jamie Jeffrey waited for the best part of half a lap for... Alex Sevillano Ledo to catch him and pass him. And here we go, practicing pit road. Because you do need to. You come around Hogpen at a blistering pace.
Look at that. You see the pace that you bring off that, because you're going fast, aren't you, when you're pulling in? You really are.
Yeah, we'll see if Gary's going to do that same thing for us, and we'll jump on board if he is.
It was a nice demonstration.
Yeah. So, for those new to watching, this will be a 40-minute race, twice the length of the first one. Still the same amount of fuel, 35%.
Still the same amount of adrenaline.
Oh, yeah, and it feels like a 40-minute sprint race, doesn't it? But this one must have a pit stop. We've only seen one go the distance with no pit stops, and that included a full course caution. He is coming to pit road, I can tell by the behaviour of his car. So you go up the hill here, you're blind, and then all of a sudden there's cones hiding behind those two little white things, and then you're down to pit road speed. It is a dramatic pit lane entry. It is not Laguna Seca where it's twisty and horrible and nasty, and don't park your car like that.
It is terribly abrupt.
It is terribly abrupt. You are absolutely right. Pit lane exit is quite an easy job compared to some tracks, but pit lane entry not the case. That's weird.
It's got an interesting. It looks a bit like a Picasso.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Hopefully, we'll get a photo of that from Alex Savellano-Lado when he does his screenshots, which is always welcome because they look absolutely beautiful. But
He's
yes,
under that, isn't he? Really?
Oh, he's so
The
talented.
images are magic, aren't they? Really? Yeah.
So your round 20 here at Virginia will be led away by Ant Woodward for Never Quit Racing. JB Dijou will go off second. Tony Walker will go off third. Fourth will be Jamie Wilson. Demis Tigchlar will go off fifth. Lee Bowden off sixth. Seventh will be Carl Hardy. Eighth will be Rob Sharp. Ninth will be Stephen Walker. 10th will be Gary Craig. Sam Please will be 11th. 12th will be Miguel Freitas, your race winner from round 19. Alex Savellano-Lado will go off 13th. 14th will be Jamie Jeffrey. Michael Seal will go off 15th. Alejandro Advani 16th. Fiona Siddons 17th. Charles Walsh has joined. Charles Walsh even said it too fast.
Oh, great.
Has joined the grid in 18th. We'll hopefully find out what happened to him properly. We'll go to a different camera because that one's rubbish. And we will change what we see. And we are revs up. We are lights on. And we are go. Held them a little bit again. Demis Tigchlar, good effort. That is a great start from Demis.
He's done this before. He's got form, Demis, in doing really great starts.
Three wide.
Oh,
Twice. That's why I said it twice.
Oh, goodness. Oh. 3 cars through a gap that's 2.5 cars wide.
I know.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh, Rob Sharp. He is not waiting. He is absolutely putting manoeuvres on people straight away. He's not messing. There's another one.
Wow.
It's Carl Hardy is his next scalp, but he's got Miguel on his inside now. No, he's just driven around the outside of him. Who cares about Miguel?
Wow.
Let's just drive around him. That's dead easy, right? Oh my God, who was that? Did you see that? That was Sam Blees. Somebody needs to tell Sam that this is a race, not an off-road light rally.
It's only the first lap.
I know, but we've seen it before, haven't we? JB Dijou, go on, lad. He is in second at the minute, and he's gapping Tony Walker.
Wow.
Let's have a look and see if anybody gets this one wrong. Stephen Walker is...
I'm rooting for JB here because he had great pace in that first race.
Ooh.
And I just see how he's going to stack up from the front of this grid here, because look at the people behind him.
I know. You've got to call out Stephen Walker at this point because he's up 3 positions from the start already. Miguel Freitas is having a look at Rob Sharp again. Rob's let him go. Just going to have a look back here because Alex Lado is what I consider to be well out of position. Where is
How did he
Fiona?
get back there?
Oh, Fiona's back here. I think Fiona's been off track.
Oh, wicked grass.
Wicked grass, faster than the tarmac.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, who's that?
Trying it out.
Is that Alex? No, Alex to the pit road. What's going on
Is
there?
that Charles on the grass?
It may well have been. I think it was, yes. Yeah, it was, yeah. Why is Alex Lado in pit road? Ooh, and Tony Walker Oh, no. Oh, JB.
No,
JB's trying to straighten him up as best he can.
Oh, go on. Oh,
He's nearly
yes.
done it as well. Oh, and that's just
that
ended in a
worked.
few tears. You could see what JB was trying, but it just wasn't working.
Oh, it was so nearly did.
Yeah, Alejandro Advani into the wall as part of that.
No, that's arm crow rash for sure.
Yeah. Tony Walker, Alejandro has jumped to the pits, and so has Tony Walker.
Yeah, those cars were bleeding, man. Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
So, Ant Woodward and Jamie Wilson are away to the races in this one.
Well, if anybody's going to make hay while the sun shines, it's that pair.
Yeah. I don't know what... Oh, right, yeah. So, Miguel, I think, is a little bit delayed now, because in front of him is Gary Craig. So, I think in all that, which we will have a little watch again in a minute, I'm just watching Gary Craig here pop out.
We've survived to lap 2.
I need to get hold of my cameras again. So, that's Gary Craig nipping past Carl Hardy.
That car.
Yeah. Nobody else is quite as close. And that's a done deal there, I think. Gary Craig is away after Samblees and his teammate Stephen Walker now, as we follow them on this chopper cam. Stephen Walker, we know, is super rapid at the best of times, and challenge for the lead. Jamie Wilson on Ant Woodward, and he's going to make this work. He's on the favourable side of the track, as is Stephen Walker on Demis Tigchelaar.
He's going to get past Demis. He's not going to get it easily, but, you know, Demis is very fair. Like all these drivers, very fair, keeps the car straight, and Stephen can pull off his passing manoeuvre.
Yeah. And Rob Sharp having a bit of trouble here. Has he got damage? He's certainly letting a couple of cars past him.
That looks like adjusted bodywork.
It does. I like that. Adjusted bodywork. I'm gonna steal that one for another broadcast, I think.
Oh, dear. Well, we don't want to see that, especially so early in the race, because this is, you know, stacking up to be a thriller.
Yeah. Samblees has just passed Demis Tigchelaar as well now. And Stephen Walker has already caught Ant Woodward.
Yes.
And he's not waiting for anything.
Well, he wants to get away because, you know, Miguel will be moving through the field. He's absolutely lethal with his... I'll just overtake the whole field on the way to the front.
Yeah.
So he's there, you know, and these chaps here, but they'll be very well aware of where he is, that's for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. And don't forget, this is supposed to not be a sprint. You might be surprised to hear that.
Never told anybody on the tarmac that.
No, well, why would we tell them that? When they do all this sort of stuff. It's an absolutely fun race to watch. So Miguel, I don't think he's going to be in the biggest of rushes. Something tells me he is possibly doing a little bit of fuel saving in order to reduce his pit stop. We've seen him do it before.
Yes. Well, to be honest, there's no mugs in this field.
No, there's not. They all know their business.
Oh, bloody smart, aren't they?
Just up ahead,
Well.
Samblees on Ant Woodward at the same time as Gary Craig passing Demis Tigchelaar. Demis mounting a bit of a comeback, but he's going to have to get alongside Gary, and that's not going to happen by NASCAR turn. NASCAR bend, I apologise. Further back.
I've seen plenty of bent NASCARs.
Oh, God, yeah. Around Virginia. All of them are. Miguel, fastest man on track last time round, a 157.5. Nobody even near that. Oh, sorry, Gary Craig, 157.9.
So Miguel's running 8th. That top 8 is just absolutely. Look at that. There's nothing between them. And I don't, you know, in that last race, after 20 minutes, I was really flat out. There was only 25 seconds between the people at the front and the people at the back.
I know.
It was
Unbelievable.
astonishingly tight.
So, you'll be glad to hear, I think. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Alex Lado is back running.
Yeah.
Tony Walker, thankfully, is back running. after JB gave him about 6,000 hits trying to turn him the right way around. Gary Craig has just passed Ant Woodward, by the way, and Alejandro Advani is back running. Fiona Siddons at the minute has got 43 seconds grace on those 3 cars, so
Well,
she's very good at staying on lead lap these days. So they're at risk, I suppose, of not catching her.
well, she'll be well aware that they're there because this is,
Yeah.
you know, when you're like me, spend more time than you'd like probably at the rear of a race.
Ooh,
The people behind you are just as exciting and important as the people in front of you.
yep.
They are, because they're coming, and it's really thrilling stuff trying to keep them at bay.
Very much so, yeah. So, much slower laps on this one round for virtually everybody. I say virtually.
Thank heavens, you know, my blood pressure is grateful to
Yours is. I've got. If you shake me, I rattle with the amount that I take. So this is this? Oh right. So Jamie Wilson has just been passed there in front of us by Gary Craig, trying to mount some sort of comeback. We're on board with Ant Woodward, but Ant Woodward has this boy behind him, Miguel Freitas, who has started to chip him off on the old headboard block. Alan?
You just wonder how anybody gets past anybody. Look how tight it is. Look how fast everybody goes.
I know, let's follow them on the chopper cam up the hill here through the S's.
And of course, this is one of the places where you can make time on people. And he's getting every bit. I think you might be right about his fuel saving. You know?
Yeah. Carl Hardy is doing very well. He's caught up to this very small pack just off the very front.
Great.
And he's going to get a run here, but so is Miguel. So I don't know what Carl Hardy's going to do. He's going to be a bit like a dog chasing a car. If he caught it, he wouldn't know what to do with it.
I think he'll know what to do, but I imagine that he's thinking that he's probably in the best spot to be at the moment.
Yeah, so Miguel is through. And nicely done as well. There wasn't much room to do it, but he's managed to find just a Honda-sized gap is the best way to describe that.
We see these guys do that time after time. I see Spencer and Steve doing these things. They seem a gap seems to appear after they've decided to move into it.
Hang on. There's a tactic at work that I'm not aware of. This is only 6 laps in.
Lap 6.
Yeah, 10 minutes. A quarter of the race is gone, and 3 cars have decided they've had enough and want new petrol, new gas. It's like tennis, new balls. Charles Walsh doing much better this race.
Wow.
And great to see as well. So, we've got...
I'm surprised to see those people go into the pits so early. They're not what I would call the people who generally catch me out with a pit stop. These they're still on the road. So.
But interestingly, Alan, the first 3, it's an all Veloster affair.
That is interesting because
Not seen that very often.
You can see why on the tight, twisty bits, because that suits these cars with their short wheelbase, doesn't it? They're snappy and they're quick and they like these. But this has got these massive, long straights. And,
if you were Gary Craig, what would you do? Would you overtake Sam Blease, knowing that Miguel's behind you, or would you bump draft him up this massive straight? When you catch him, of course, that is.
Well, you know what? I would do what Gary was going to do, which is just going to sit there and save fuel.
Right. I mean, he's 2/10 behind him. He made no real attempt there to do anything with him. He knows that Miguel's behind him. At the moment, there's no toe to Miguel. He's over 2 seconds behind that front 3 troop. There's no real benefit to overtaking, I don't think, for him, so he's not going to bother. We've got a few... Because those 3 cars have pitted and we've had a crash at the start, there's a bit of fragmentation in the field. You can see the times on your screen. But the battles are raging. So we've got this one here, which is Jamie Wilson, freshly out of the pits, and ready to overtake Fiona. He'll probably wait till the start-finish straight. Fiona does a good job at keeping the race clean, though, doesn't she? not
That's the
too
whole
foxed.
line.
Yeah. That's very nice. A nice overtake there. I mean, Fiona's on the same lap as Jamie there, so it's not necessary for Fiona to get out of the way necessarily. It's not a blue flag situation by any means. No. Charles Walsh has done his visit to pit road, and Gary Craig is your fastest man on track. A 157.1.
Who went into the pits, Pete?
Who's been in the pits already?
Who was those people that went in the pits?
We had Jamie Wilson who visited the pits. Lee Bowden has been in. Charles Walsh has been in. Alex Lado, Tony Walker and Alejandro have been in. But I do fear that some of those have got a second visit to make because they were involved in that crash right at the very start. Lap 2 it was.
Yes.
So I fear there's either fuel saving required for those cars as we've got Ant Woodward. Oh, what has happened to Ant Woodward? He's gone, as in he's gone.
Oh.
And I don't understand why. This can't be the same as what happened to Charles in the first one. Let me find out what happened.
He'll come and tell us. He'll go in the chat.
Well, yeah, usually he does, yeah. So he's been in the pits. That looks like he's driving through the... Oh, no, there we go.
No.
So he parks it in pit road, and then... This must have been what happened to Charles. Charles must have driven into pit road and then ditched it, because it's saying that he's out now. The revving car you can hear is Lee, who entered the pits after him. He never came out of the pits. He's just stayed there. That's really weird. Right, we're not going to watch that anymore. We're going to watch some racing.
That is peculiar,
isn't it? Very strange.
Please wait, mate. We're racing.
That's what we're doing.
So, yes, there's Gary, and I think he's pretty happy with the way he's going, but I think he's probably getting quite stretched behind these two now.
I think so, but if he saves enough fuel, even if it's just 1 second or half a second's worth of fuel, he'll leapfrog Sam Blease, because Sam Blease won't be able to save nearly as much, surely, in front of him. I know Sam's another master tactician. Master something. Hey.
I'm surprised they managed to make any pace
Stephen, stop it. Stephen knows that I'm talking. Yeah, sorry.
Their pedal will only be halfway down half the time. I don't know how to keep the cars going.
Because they do it tactically at the right points on the track, leading into corners mostly, obviously. We saw it in one race, didn't we, where he was completely clutching the whole thing.
Yes, he put his foot on the accelerator.
I know, he was almost scared to touch the gas, you know, it was one of those situations. So this is Demis getting chased down now by Jamie Jeffrey. Top 3 are closing together, you know. Stephen Walker's getting slowly and inexorably caught by these 2 other Velocitas behind him. I mean, he will want to do some fuel saving to counteract that which is happening behind him. I don't know whether he can, though.
I don't think he can. It's if anybody can, it's him. But you know, it's not exactly what you call the best situation for fuel saving where he is currently.
No. So clearly, lap 6 was. Oh, we're still on replay. Clearly lap 6 was the optimal time that some thought it was to pit. Oh, don't do that. Oh, thank you. I thought SDK was going to cripple me like it did once before. Jamie Jeffrey, very, very close. Why am I still on replay? I can't get off replay. That's what's going on. There we go. Right. Right, let's see where everybody's at now. Sorry about that, I'm having SDK issues, folks. Now, Miguel's got a bit of tow now. And Jamie Jeffrey has closed in on Demis. Yeah, thanks, Adam. He did tell me that a couple of minutes ago, actually, but I couldn't get off replay. It wouldn't let me go live, so I hadn't realised that it hadn't let me go live. So This is the race, the closest race and battle on track. You would think that Jamie would have a massive amount of tow here, but he's not closing that much. If you look at where the bottom of that bumper is, it's about equidistant all the way through that sequence.
It's a very good defensive driver there, is Demis.
He is really good, yeah.
He doesn't get flustered, and
no,
he just
very
takes
calm.
that little extra bit of line just to make it a tricky decision to go past him.
Yeah, and regularly he is one of the highest Audis, if not the highest Audi. We've not had Stefan in the races for a while. I gather he's on holiday somewhere. So yeah, or driving his race cars around Nürburgring, which is what he does. But yeah, Demis very, very capable in this car. I do think there's a car behind this group. Oh no, it's Rob, and he's on a bit of a recovery. I think you're right. He's got damage on the left-hand side. Oh no, it's just the way the paint scheme is.
Paint, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done that before, haven't I? I need to remember.
Yeah,
that.
well, it does look like, at first glance, it really looks like it's been twisted or bent slightly.
Yeah.
It's just the way the paneling is. That's just the light.
So
It's certainly pressing on now.
Yeah, I wonder if Jamie Jeffrey is doing a Gary and deciding, fuel saving's the way to go, so I'll just sit here behind Demis. I can overtake him in pit road without risking anything. We're going to have to go and look at this because...
He's a hot young racer, and he won't. I'm not sure that's his cast of mind.
No, and Miguel has now got himself a bag full of Gary Craig's tow, so I wonder what these front three cars are going to do. They've got the very, very fast Miguel behind them, which they need something to lever an advantage, right? What would that be?
I think he's got the pace to get past them. So they'll be maybe thinking the pit stop will serve them. Maybe they think.
So Gary Craig has entered pit road.
Right.
He's decided he doesn't need that tow anymore.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
the whole move, isn't it?
Yeah. Tony Walker is visiting pit road for the second time because he was involved in that kerfuffle at the start.
Wow. Now Gary's away again already, so
yeah.
That seemed like a reasonably short stop to me.
It'll be interesting to see if that makes the others react. Miguel, I don't think will react. He's got a tow in front of him now, which is going to be an advantage to him because he can start to save a bit of fuel and counter whatever the other cars in front have got going on.
No, and Miguel will be happy with this situation. I'm sure he's content. Yes. We're halfway through the race. He's got the leaders in plain sight. We know that they're extremely rapid drivers, and this is a battle to relish. Can Miguel get past these guys? Will he even try on the road? Is he going to wait for the pit stop?
Yeah, well, I don't know that he can. He was over 2 seconds behind, which is outside draft, if you know what I mean. And as a result of that, I think he's probably used more fuel than the cars in front of him, with the exception of Stephen Walker, who I think is playing tow boy. That's not even, he's offering a service here for Sam Blease to save fuel. He can't fuel save, can he? Well, unless it's just natural fuel saving off the gas into corners, which we know Stephen Walker can do. But I think Sam Blease has got a mega advantage at the moment.
Yeah.
Where's Gary Craig popped out? Has he popped out with any friends? No.
No.
How far away is a friend? A long way off. And Miguel has just done a sub 157 lap.
Ow.
Ow indeed.
Oh.
Ow indeed.
Crikey. Bro, that's if you were wondering whether he was got a bit of pace left and whether he was going to fuel safe.
Yeah. Rob Sharp has found Demis Tigchalar at a very twisty point in the track, right at the start. This is NASCAR bend that they're going through at the moment.
He's got the inside here. That should do the job.
Oh, that's close, but it's good. That's lovely. Nice overtake. And well done to Demis at the same time.
Yes.
Keeping control of the car under pressure, always a challenge. Very nicely done. I don't know where Russell is. He's usually on the chat. Let's see if we can drag him out of where he's hiding.
Please wait, mate. We're racing.
That usually does it, but it's. We'll see if he turns up for that.
Well, I was passed by both drivers. He was.
These three holding station at the moment. What times is Gary putting in, given the fact that he pitted a while ago? Gary's doing one. Oh, right. I'm not going to say it because it might upset the Apple cart. Maybe they can see it on their own screens, but we'll let them do that. You can see it on your screens.
Well, look at this, they're locked together here. And Miguel's gone for the pits.
He has. So he's decided I've used up all the super fast laps that I'm going to get here. I am now intrigued as to where he's going to pop out in terms of Gary Craig. And where is Gary at the moment? Gary is making his way through Roller Coaster. Is he? No, that's Hog Pen. So there, Miguel's moving. Miguel's moving. We can see him in the foreground, in the distance on the last shot. Where is Gary? And there goes Gary. So that is situation net zero, in my opinion. Because that's how they were not that long ago. Yeah.
Well, they've both done their strategy and followed through. So here we are.
Yeah, and I don't know whether Michael Seal has been to pit. Oh, who was that?
Was it,
hang on, I'm scrolling. I've not got anybody off track, eh? I don't know who that was. No, was it Tony?
Was it Tony I was thinking?
No. Tony... Oh yeah, it will have been, yeah. I think he was having a connection moment. This is Alex Savlano-Lado. And he has just... Well, let's have a watch of this because this is worth watching. So this is him overtaking Fiona. But Fiona, on the same lap as Alex, didn't make it easy for him. And did a good bit of fighting back by the look of the screen, at least. You know, the timing screen. Yeah, got ahead of him again. And then had a bit of a shot at him into the left-hander at NASCAR. That was pretty much done. Yeah, I mean, good effort by Fee.
Tried, keeping to the toe. Take as much of the toe as you can and get dragged along for as far as you can because, you know.
Oh, Alex. That's the wrong pit lane, mate. Oh, dear, that was close. Now, if you get too close to that one, you can get a penalty. I found it once because it thinks you've gone into the pits and you're exceeding the speed limit. So you got to be careful. Alejandro Advani in the pits and on the jacks. So he's forgotten to take off his changed tyres.
He's been to see the Maharishi doing a bit of levitation while he's in there.
Yeah. And why not, you know?
Yeah, well, it saves weight in the car, of course.
You're right.
I'm not sure it's good for the handling.
No.
Lack of grip there.
Still get more grip in the air than you do on the grass round here.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I've got to say, the grass at Magny-Cours was very impressive.
Yes.
It was incredibly impressive grass. It was.
I don't know. Ooh, Jamie Jeffrey, that's not the way to do Oak Tree.
I think
he knows that.
Missed his braking, just the slightest touch.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Now he's got it.
Can't you?
He's got Demis to do again now.
Look
He'd
at
only
these
just
guys.
passed him, so.
Yeah, well, they're in a line, and this is an interesting trio of drivers.
Can you go a bit faster, Demis? Jamie says. The Audi does like to brake a lot earlier, as a rule. And sometimes catches people out. Miguel closing in on Gary. You have to say, looking at the times on the screen, folks, that the two geodesic Hydro Race geodesic racing white cars have got an advantage here, as we have Demis in the pits. I keep looking up and seeing Adam Wright's still on replay, Pete, and I'm thinking, Christ, really? Again? And of course I'm not. I just keep seeing the same message.
Well, these two are friends for life here, clearly.
Yeah, inseparable, really. You know, this is the closest battle on track, because you can't get closer, really, than 0.3 of a second. Not without needing a restraining order or something like that.
No. Interesting to me is this. Well, Gary's just going to try and do everything he can to have enough pace so that Miguel can't get past him. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's actually humanly possible.
Well, yeah. Gary's a cool customer, and he showed in practice that he's got super fast laps inside him, which means doing non-super fast laps should be a controlled affair. But Miguel, we've seen so many times, just seems to be able to turn the wick up in race situations.
And pretty much at will.
Yeah, yeah. It's annoying, isn't it? I wish I could do it. Oh, Adam saved me. Yeah, Adam saved me from my own distractions by saying you're not on replay anymore, Pete. So that helps a lot. Thank you. But I do know what we are doing.
Please wait, mate. We're racing.
There we go.
Well, we are going down this hill. It's a hairy old business. My word. Big boy, it's so easy to lose it.
Right, so Big Mig has got a big run. He's gone a bit of grass there, so he's lost some momentum. That could have been it.
That would have been it.
Carl Hardy, you can see, is in pit road, folks.
He's left that late. He's driving a really good race here. He's cool, very quiet, just keeping going.
That was interesting. Miguel's car was hitting the rev limiter, like massively hitting the rev limiter. And we've heard about this with the Honda before. I wonder if it's causing any issues.
Hopefully on this circuit with those straights. That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. I never considered it before. You expect it on Daytona, do you know what I mean? Where the straights are stupidly long and the speeds are unbelievably fast. Virginia, I didn't expect it, but let's follow them up the hill on the chopper.
I love this bit of road.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's lush.
Gorgeous coming up here, yeah.
Alex Lado to pit road now.
It just sweeps around, it's beautiful. If you've never driven a sim car, I suggest you rush out and buy one.
Too right.
Bring it here and drive around because it's a lot of fun.
It's significantly cheaper than buying a real car. Let's put it that way. Oh, hang on. We've got a split in tactics.
Hello.
That was Stephen Walker. Ooh, that was Stephen Walker entering pit road, and Sam Blease has slingshotted his way past Fiona, and has carried on Rob Sharp and Jamie Jeffrey to pit road. So this is getting clearly to the end of the fuel window for everybody, because the only car not yet pitted is Sam Blease, who's clearly saved a bag full of fuel.
He's going to be in and out, isn't he?
Well, that's if he makes it round. We've seen mistakes before. We've seen one from Sam in pit road last season, if you remember.
Yes, we saw one from Sam, indeed we did. But we only remember it because that's the only one we've ever seen.
Well, we don't like to say that too often because we're trying to make a drama out of the situation for the viewers. So.
Oh, this seems fairly dramatic to me.
Right, where has Stephen Walker come out in relation? Wow! So Gary and Miguel have lost nothing on Stephen Walker. I wonder if they'll lose something on Sam Blease. He's obviously got 1 lap's worth of extra fuel advantage, but what does that actually mean? Where on earth did you go?
How have you brought out? Is that a second on the road, do you think? Probably not even that.
No, probably not even that, no. So
Goodness
Dan,
me.
Mark Draper's got no cash because he's got kids. We established this before. Right, so Miguel will be looking now to do the overtake on Gary as fast as possible. There's not a great deal of time left, only 7 minutes. Gary's got the optimal line in the roller coaster. I'm going to have to go to Chopper, this is just too close. We've seen Miguel go around the outside of people in roller coaster already tonight, but Gary is a different cookie. But it's just not stopping Miguel. I mean, he's
not going to stop him.
Unbelievable.
He's an unstoppable force, really.
He really is, isn't he?
Yeah. We've seen him do this so often now, make incredible overtakes on the fastest guys that we know.
Right, I'm going to do it
the
this
best
way.
defenders we know, and he just keeps doing it, and it's magical.
Yep.
It's just that extra ounce of pace just when you need it, that burst of acceleration, just when you need it.
How can you combat that? Obviously, you can be Hydro Race, geodesic racing white cars and do your own race and stay out longer and build up a larger gap before you pit, because that seems to be the solution for tonight. But do they have to fuel save? Has Miguel got it in him that he can in the next? What's this? 5.5 minutes. 6 minutes, yeah. Overhaul 2 Velosters. Or can Gary snap back? Because that's what needs to happen for Gary to get a podium.
Well, I don't think that's beyond him.
Oh no, not at all. He's got it within him.
We saw that. We saw the Honda revving out.
Yeah.
That to me is a weakness. If he's revving out, that's got to give an advantage to somebody who's not.
Mm-hmm.
And is that going to make a difference to the guys in front here? Is that going to be a difference between Miguel managing to get past him and not?
Well, it used to be that one of the cars, I don't know whether it was the Audi now. No, it was the Veloster once upon a time. If you just kept hitting the rev limiter, it got faster and faster. I think they fixed it though. In one of the builds. I think it was the Veloster. Somebody will correct me on the chat. But one of them, if you just kept pounding away at the rev limiter, it got quicker and quicker.
Where do I get one of those?
I know.
Do they do them for MX-5s?
Yeah. We'll try and organise one for you, don't worry.
Thank you very much.
So, 40 minutes nearly, and we've still got the top 4 over a space that you could cover with a bit of a big blanket. Gary Craig has just set the fastest lap of the race in the tow behind Miguel. Yeah, that is spectacular. Well done, Gary Craig.
Well, we saw Miguel get by him, but Gary's got plenty of fight left.
Oh yeah.
And, he's looking to get his foot on that podium. You can guarantee he's going to be doing everything he can think of.
They are both catching Stephen Walker. So this is all reversed. Well, it's not reversed. The top 2 positions reversed in the pit road cycle. Sam Blease got out ahead of everybody, including his own teammate, which was the position to reverse. Now these 3 are chasing him down to the end of the race. He's got the, track position around here is everything, right? It's not like Daytona where you're actually better off in second place going on to the last lap. Because you've got the mega draft to slingshot you round the car in front. This one, track position is king. And Miguel is about to dethrone Stephen Walker.
Gary's just done the fastest lap again, and he's losing ground.
And I know, what is that? What is that about? You can only assume.
That was the Oak Tree corner.
Yeah, and Miguel has done the fastest Sector 2 of anybody in this lap that we're on now. And on the last lap, he did the fastest Sector 6 of anybody. So I can expect the fastest lap time to tumble.
Now you see.
How do they do that direction change that fast? What on earth is wrong with these people?
I think Gary was helping Stephen out by distracting Miguel a bit, but now Miguel's got this half a second gap.
Oh my God. So Miguel has just taken over 1.5 tenths off Gary Craig's fastest time.
I'm going to see 1:56.5 at this rate.
Yeah, I think he's a bit close, if you know what I mean, to the car in front now. By the time he got the drive and the run, he'd be like crawling all over the roof of the car.
So, well, you know, Stephen will be on his mettle, and he's a fantastic driver, and he's got great pace. And he's determined, and if he gets determined, he will do a very good job of keeping Miguel behind him.
Yeah. Let's see if Miguel reels in Stephen Walker anywhere through this section and into.
Stephen's a big gun, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Stephen's a great driver. He knows exactly how to position a car for optimal wideness. That's a term I've just invented, folks.
So certainly he's got, you know, if you wanted to put after the field a couple of people in front of Miguel who was going to give him a hard time to win the race, these are the two you'd put there, aren't they?
Absolutely. Rob Sharp is closing in on Jamie Jeffrey, and that is a slow moving, I think, Tony Walker. Yes, it is. Keeping out of the way. He's only slow moving because he's keeping out of the way, I should say. He's not slow. We've seen blisteringly fast laps from Tony Walker this season. I thought
he might have a slow down then for a sec when you said that. I was going to heart went bump.
Yeah. He was part of a series of incidents right at the start with JB trying to straighten him up after getting some bunching on the couple of laps at the beginning.
Very nearly worked as well.
Very nearly. See exactly what JB was attempting. It just didn't come off. And these guys now, with no laps to go, this is the last lap that they've just embarked upon. So nobody is going to wait now. This is it. And you've got to say that Sam Blease holds the aces, all four of them, in this deck of cards. Fiona's going to want to absolutely gun it because there is a freight train approaching, and it's fast.
There they go.
Right then, this is So they caught Fiona at the wrong point there, in the middle of a very fast turn, and Miguel has been the primary victim. I mean, he's lost one position, if you take my point. Therefore, it's not a massive disaster, but Gary Craig is the massive winner in all of that. Massive winner. He's got a victory on the cards if he can sort himself out and get Sam Blease on the run to the line somehow. So this is principally a run to the line for these two cars. Stephen Walker had to check up behind Fiona's car as it tried to not be there, effectively. Checkered flag is out, and Sam Blease takes the victory in the feature race over Gary Craig and Miguel Freitas. Where did Stephen Walker end up? Why is Stephen Walker out on the grass? We're going to have a look at this.
Oh, crikey. So Miguel got on the podium.
He did.
Stephen got on the grass.
He did. Right, so this is after the event. So Has Stephen Walker
What
ended up
happened?
with damage? Oh, yes, he has.
No.
Broken front suspension. That's exactly what that is. And he started to turn left, and the car said, no, you're not. You're turning very left, as in all the way left. And that must be from that little incident where they all stacked up behind Fiona. So let's have a quick look at it again. So everybody charging up to the back of... Right, so there was a bit of a concertina effect there. Miguel got spat out of it all. Where is Stephen Walker? Stephen Walker probably doesn't know much about it at the minute, to be fair. Car looks normal. Steering wheel's fairly straightforward. I don't like that gyro camera because it makes me feel sick. So nothing possibly felt too off at this point for Stephen until he got to this left-hander here. First time he's turned left, and where round it goes. No front suspension on the left-hand side.
I'll have to remember to get some put in my car, Pete, because I don't want that happening to me.
No way. That was vicious, wasn't it?
That was awful.
And there goes Miguel sailing round the outside to gain the third step on the podium. I don't know where Stephen Walker finished. He finished 7th in the end after all that. That's tearful. So, yes.
Still, I bet they had a great race because that was exciting.
He will, but it'll be a bitter situation, I think. Right, so let's go through the finishing order. Excuse me. Results. So, round 20 at Virginia International Raceway. Sam Blees took the honours. He is your race winner for Hydro Race, Geodesic Racing White. Gary Craig finished 2nd for BSTV. And rounding out the podium was Miguel Freitas for Impulse Racing. 4th was Carl Hardy for Safeguard by Result. That's a good result for Carl Hardy. Excellent work. Jamie Jeffrey finished 5th for CCR. Rob Sharp finished 6th for Fiercely Forward. Stephen Walker finished 7th in the end. That should not have been the case. For Hydro Race Geodesic Racing White, Demis Tigchalar finished 8th for Hydro Race Racing Forces. Jamie Wilson finished 9th for Team Chimera. 10th was Lee Bowden for Safeguard by Result. 11th was JB for BSTV Esports Blue. Charles Walsh was 12th. Alex Sevillano-Lado was 13th for Racing Forces. Fiona Siddons was 14th. That's a good result for Fiona. Lots and lots of points there. For Matthews Logistics with Vapors Mansfield, Tony Walker was 15th. Alejandro Advani was 16th. Michael Seal was 17th for Result Clothing. And Ant Woodward was 18th and last tonight for Never Quit Racing. And we don't know why, but he kind of parked it in pit road and never took up the steering wheel again. Alan, how much drama do you want in a race? Because you got plenty.
Yeah, well, I expected it, to be honest, Pete, this track, because it's a real racy place. It is.
Yeah. Very, very racy. I mean, you can't top racing like that, can you? We've seen brilliant overtakes, massive speed, tactics,
yeah, great
sportsmanship
defending.
of a magnificent level, and different winners tonight, which is always good to see. It's good to mix it up.
Yeah, we're spoiled, aren't we?
I think so. Absolutely think so. Right, let's see if we can find some people to talk to. We should start with Miguel Freitas. Good evening.
Good evening.
Wow.
Good evening.
So, that was dramatic in the second race, but let's talk about your first race first, because that seems only sensible. A flag-to-flag victory, but not made easy. Sam Blees, Gary and Stephen made you work for every second of it, really, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a very hard race. I started in front and I was expecting Sam to play along in the first few laps, but he
Right.
attacked right away, and yeah, I got a little bit surprised, lost a little bit of the car, so yeah, I had to fight for it, and I had to try go flat out in the first lap through the S's, and see how that worked, and it worked fine.
How can that be? How can you do lap one flat out through the S's in a TCR with a 42-degree track or whatever it was, and not absolutely send yourself into orbit? That's very impressive. And your mistake, you said you ran it wide in NASCAR Bend, didn't you? Which is turn 1, 2, 3. But it wasn't much of a mistake, was it?
It was a mistake in the sense that when I saw Sam go on my inside, I panicked a little bit and changed my line.
Wow. Okay,
And
folks,
with the extra braking,
yeah.
the car turned around.
We've just heard from Miguel that he panics. We've not heard this before. This is new information, folks. Apparently, you have a
Take
fallibility, and
Take heart.
yeah. Everybody else needs to take heart that Miguel is not a machine, despite how fast he wins races. But yeah, you're keeping the team flag flying while Wobbly is obviously letting you down, hand over fist on holiday, not doing the team thing.
Running around from bar to bar.
Bar to bar, we've seen it all. So, second race, lots and lots of drama. I thought you were playing a very calm game. You didn't rush to the front like some of the others did. You made your way very carefully and strategically forward, and it was very nice to watch, actually. It was very calm and calculated. Then the pit stops happened, and it all seemed to be like nullified, other than the fact that Sam got ahead of Stephen. That was the only real difference that we could spot. You exchanged fastest laps with Gary Craig a few times, and then right at the end, you decided, do you know what, I've had enough of driving in fourth place. I fancy myself at the front, and you made a very valiant charge through Gary first, and then through Stephen, or nearly through Stephen, and then a backmarker choked everything up, and you were the biggest victim of all, it would seem.
Yeah, race 2 was an adventure, to be completely honest. So, at the start, I had one of my best starts on a feature race. I overtook quite a lot of people in the first lap, but then there was a small pileup in the beginning of the second lap.
Yes.
And I just saw smoke, and I decided to follow the car in front because I don't know what is happening. And he just had some guys spun around in front of him, so we had to go to a almost complete stop, and everyone overtook us on the outside.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I lost like 3 or 4 places again. And yeah, after that, I was putting some very good laps until the pit stops. And yeah, I got back behind Gary. And yeah, I decided not to attack to see if we could jump the other guys that were still to pit. But yeah, when I realized that they were getting out in front of us, I was like, no, I will now go for the overtakes myself.
yeah. And I have to say, such a very wonderfully controlled overtake around the outside of the roller coaster. We saw you do it twice at least, and that's just the ones that we caught, and one of them was Gary Craig. You've obviously got the Honda fully hooked up in terms of grip on that left-hand front corner. It was really good to watch. Your car control is impressive.
Yeah, I think this was the race which I spent most time messing around with the setup. I tried all sorts of wings, and the Honda has a really bad exit on the hairpin, so I need to run him with very low wing. I thought that's why I could make moves there, because I had such a low wing that in the end of the straight I could go for the moves.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Honda is very stable on the brakes, and I could just brake slightly later than the others. And then I had the advantage on the following corner. I could make it side by side, but then the next turn is to the left, and I could get around in front.
Right, okay. And in one of our onboards, we heard, I don't know whether the replay displays it correctly. But we thought we heard that you were hammering away at the top of the rev limiter at the end of the big back straight. Is that the case in the Honda, or were you not ever on the rev limiter?
I was sometimes on the rev limiter, but it was off the 5th gear, not the 6th.
Oh, well, he was conning us then, Alan. He wasn't even in the top gear.
No.
No, I mean, he's so fast that he doesn't even need 6th gear. You know what I mean?
Well,
just cruises around in 5th.
Another fantastic, and a great description there by Miguel of his race. I thought from inside it felt like I was inside the car with it. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
Very well described. Excellent stuff. So where I looked at this before and I can't even remember where we go next.
Isn't it Suzuka?
No, it's Hockenheim.
Hockenheim,
Suzuka is the finale of this season. Hockenheim, is that a track that you've been to a lot? I suspect it will be. It's been featured in most leagues because it's very, very dynamic. How do you run at Hockenheim, Miguel?
I quite like the track. I'm usually get killed on the hairpin because it's very hard to judge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping for a little bit of luck.
Awesome stuff.
I had the back luck already today by the end of the race. So.
Yes, you did. So, well, let's hope that's all of your bad luck used up for the season, let's say. Hopefully you're enjoying racing in the BSTV League and the TCR Challenge Cup. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate your race victory in the first race and your third step on the podium in the second race?
Same guys as usual, Impulse Racing, the TCR guys, Weeb for his vacations and not being so helpful. And everyone that organizes the league and you guys, it has been an amazing time this season. So yeah, I'm very happy.
I like you even more now that you've said that Wobbly is not helping you. And we will see you next time out. Miguel Freitas, everybody. The super fast Miguel Freitas.
Have a good evening.
Very well done.
He's such a nice bloke, isn't he?
Yeah,
I really like.
Lovely.
Yeah, I like interviewing him. Right, next into the booth. Oh yeah, we need to do this man, Sam Blees. Good evening, mid sentence as well.
Good evening, guys.
Evening, Sam.
Evening. Right, let me find you on the track because you are eventually going to lead the race in the replay.
I'm in Fiona's boot.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're crawling in and out of Fiona's boot. Okay, so first race. Let's see. Where did you end up in the first race? In the first race, you were second, P2.
After leading nearly every lap.
Right, so talk us through that, right? Because me and Alan, we were witness to you romping off into the Virginia countryside. You got yourself a massive gap of about 3 seconds, which in this league is about as big as you're going to get. And then the guys behind you just seemed to eat away at your lead. And you had one bad lap that I saw, 1:58, which I would struggle to achieve, and a lot of people in the race tonight would be appreciative of. But one lap at 1:58, and they were on you like white on rice.
Yeah, I kept making, like, I had one big mistake where I lost about 8, 9 tenths, but I kept making 2/10 mistakes, and they weren't making them. I think Miguel was a bit quicker tonight, and Gary as well, actually. Both of them were a bit faster than me.
Yeah, Gary was blistering, actually, on certain laps. Good grief.
Yeah, he was absolutely on it. Which is annoying because I gave him that setup, so I might have to refrain.
Dear, all donations gratefully received by the BSTV team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just I was just making minor mistakes, and I didn't get that gap on pace. I got that gap because they were fighting behind me, and I'd made a good start.
Yep.
So I knew I was going to struggle to hold on to it, but I would have done, apart from the first time all race I touched the grass coming out of Oak Tree. Was when Miguel happened to be 3 tenths behind me rather than 6 tenths.
Yeah, we saw that, funnily enough. Yeah.
Tried to hang it around the outside, but it wasn't going to happen, and that was it. Yeah, I didn't have anything to. I tried to fight back, but it was just not available.
It makes it impossible, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got brilliant racecraft, so he knows exactly where to put the car. And I thought I had a chance because I was going outside of the left-hander. I chose my line. And then I thought, well, I'll have the inside of the right-hander. But you just can't carry speed through there. And you can carry it around the outside. So he was just able to keep me there. And then the next corner on the left-hander, it just came back to him. And yeah, fair play to him. It was a cracking move. He waited his time until I made that mistake. He forced it out of me by keeping the pressure on. And then he knew exactly where to put the car, exactly how much space to give. And it was executed perfectly. Couldn't argue with it, really.
One of your overtakes, actually, Sam.
Well, you're very kind, but some of mine were a bit messier in the feature race.
Yeah, but I appreciate the sentiment that Alan's used there, because you really do pass people very, very quickly. I think there's possibly only Miguel and Spencer that are on par with you for overtaking people with absolute ease. In the second race, you literally, if there was a whole shot description, we saw it in slow motion just now, actually. You pulled it. Everybody else went left and aimed at the smoke. You went right, and I think you overtook about 8 cars in one corner. I think it was about 8. I was trying to count them as you were talking, but I was focusing on what Alan was saying as well. So, what prompts you to do that? Everybody else has gone left. I'm going to go right. Is it just do something different, or is it?
When it was all stacking up in front, I think I was just in the right place at the right time. So I was able to see it with enough time to react. So I got on the brakes. Everyone behind me got on the brakes, so there was no one running over me. And then it just parted like Moses parting the sea. So everyone, like you said, everyone was trying to go to the inside. And there's the old saying that if you aim where the smoke is, the car won't be there by the time you get there.
Yeah, which I think is what everybody did. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all wasn't right, because that car had already stopped. So that car was still there when they got there, and they had to stop and go around it. So just like the whole lane opened up on the outside, and me and Gary just scampered through, and it was literally just like I lifted off the brakes and just went, all right then, round we go.
Yeah, and that's
it was more luck than judgment, I think we'll call it.
Well, I don't know. You're getting into Stephen Walker territory now, really, aren't you? With the whole luckiness, wins the race and he's lucky. Apparently, that's not how that works. But anyway, towards the end of that second race, the feature race, you stayed out longer than everybody else, did an extra lap on the whole field. Yep. That had to play to your advantage, because you leapfrogged your own teammate in all of that. And then
I took a bit less fuel.
Yeah, and then you were the only one that managed to encounter the lapped car of Fiona at exactly the right time. You might not think that, but if you watch the replay, you were the only one. You got on the inside of her and then disappeared, and the carnage happened behind you. There was nowhere for anybody to go. Fiona didn't do anything wrong. You can only drive on really one line. And everybody stacked up, and Miguel was what we thought was the biggest fallout loser. But it ended up being Stephen, your teammate.
Yeah, he lost one of his rear wheels. So when he tried to put the brakes on the car, just disappeared, just spat him out.
We didn't see the rear wheel missing. We saw.
You couldn't see that.
I lost. I may be slightly dramatising the situation. It was broken.
It was very broken. Yeah,
off the ground. Yeah, so he braked and the car just spat him out.
Yeah.
So we saw he was getting spat out, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, we've had a chat with Fiona. Like you said, she didn't really do anything wrong. She made a mistake through the previous corner, so we wouldn't have caught her there. We'd have caught her after the corner, and we'd have had room to go through.
Yeah.
But because she had the wobble coming out the previous one, she was slow in that little short
left-hander
straight. Yeah.
The straight up to the hill, right? Okay,
that was where the damage was done. And then she stayed left, so I thought she was trying to stop the car for us to go round. So I just okay, well, either she's going to be past the corner and I can go through, or she's stopping. But she was so close to the apex by that point. Effectively, she just ended up parked there.
Yeah.
I just had to turn in and dive to the inside. Took the 1X. I took a 4X in the end because I clipped her on the way through. But I didn't get any real damage to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then, walked behind, went straight into the back. Miguel into the back of him. Gary managed once again to just scamper around the outside happily, as if nothing had happened.
You got a boot full of rabbit's feet like you've got.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think he's wearing the communal lucky pants this week.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was just one of those things. It's nobody's fault.
Nah.
Like we said, we've had a chat with you, and there's no hard feelings or anything. It's just one of those things that you it's a very difficult place on that. Like that whole section is very difficult to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's one place you
wasn't it?
don't want to be on the last lap with the four
Right
leaders
there,
battling
right
up
there.
behind you,
Yeah.
that is the place. And it just so happened that's where we were. But works lost a bit of time, lost a few places, but that's the name of the game, isn't it? You get unfortunate incidents sometimes. You have these accidents, and you have to come back next time. So unlucky to him, and fair play to Fiona. It was a very difficult place to be, and the little mistake on the previous corner just made it that much harder to find a way that wasn't going to cause carnage. Unfortunately, we came together, but that stuff happens.
Yeah.
It does. It's part of the experience, isn't it?
It is.
Right, so Hockenheim is your next destination. Are you thinking that that's going to be an advantage track for the Veloster or not?
I think it might be a decent track for the Veloster. I think I'd probably want an Elantra there if I had free choice.
Really?
But
we've seen the Elantra struggle at the last.
Yeah,
three tracks I'm going to go for.
I think the Elantra is at its best when you can absolutely launch it over curbs, and Hockenheim has a couple of instances where you need to absolutely launch it over curbs, and the Veloster sort of is the same, but it's much less stable. So it can do the same lap time, but it's just much twitchier to do it.
Right.
So I think if I had a free choice, I'd pick the Veloster. I think the Honda might be okay there. Sorry, a free choice, I'd take the Elantra, but the Veloster should be okay. Yeah. I can't drive the Honda, so I don't really know where it feels good and where it feels bad. Here it felt pretty even, to be honest. Like we've had some where I've felt the Honda had a tenth or two on us, and we've had some where I felt we had an advantage. I think this tonight was fairly close. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what to expect next week, but we'll find out when we get there, won't we?
We will, definitely. That's 1 week from today, folks. What are you looking at? You're looking at a first place feature race victory and a second place sprint race finishing position. It's been great watching everything unfold tonight. Anybody you want to shout out to before we let you go and celebrate?
I would like to thank the BSTV team, as always, for putting this on and hosting it, and everybody turned out, because it's always good fun racing. And I want to say a special thank you to Jamie Wilson for not murdering me when I tried to come around the outside of the final corner. And I sort of made it work. We
saw that.
I was committed to following Stephen, and then about 3/4 of the way through the move, I was like, this was a fairly stupid thing to have done.
Yeah,
but I was already doing it.
I don't think he had any track left, so there was a little bit of a touch, wasn't there? It was just a graze. We'll call it a graze.
I probably squeezed him a little bit more than I should have done on the inside.
Right.
But there was no slowdown or 1x or anything. It was just I probably could have given him an extra couple of feet, half a meter, whatever language we want to use.
Yeah.
But we all survived. No one got hurt, so it's a win. And thank you, Jamie, for allowing it to not be a murderous incident. That sees me in the barrier down at the bottom of the hill and towing for 20 minutes.
No, well said. And great racing tonight. Very entertaining. You were the only one that went the extra lap on the fuel, and it served you well because it made you be in the right place at the right time at a very poignant point in the race. So
a slightly shorter pit stop helped as well. Bit less fuel needed.
Yeah.
Got me there just about.
Yeah, track position is king around Virginia Raceway, and you've proven that tonight in that second race. We will look forward to seeing you on track again at Hockenheim in 1 week's time. Sam, please, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Yay.
Okay, so next into the booth is another podium finisher this evening, Gary Craig, who finished third in the sprint race, second in the feature, a good haul of points tonight. Gary, race one, a bit of a slog to the end, really, isn't it? Wasn't it? It was Sam got away and disappeared off into the future, but then you all hauled him in again, and you had a real tussle with Mr. Miguel Freitas right the way through the race, right to the end, really.
Yeah, I mean, race one, we were all. I mean, tonight the four of us at the front there were all very close on pace, so there was not a lot between us. Miguel was probably faster. Uh, Sam and Wook are very similar to me, so it was always going to be nip and tuck. Yeah, Sam got away a bit when me and Miguel were side by side for the first half of the first two laps.
Yeah.
But then yeah, when I tucked in behind Miguel, we caught back up with him again, and I think I finished like 800th behind Sam at the line. I was never going to overtake, because would have to go around the outside of a turn that was turning off to the right, so I wasn't going to get that. But yeah, close finish in the first one again. Close battle the entire way through, and it's good fun to have the four of us all kind of on pace there tonight.
Yeah, 0.076 is what you finished behind Sam in the first race. Just to clarify the finer points of that one. But very dramatic racing. And the sprint races recently have been quite dramatic, and we could tell we were in a sprint. The second races of last week was obviously a bit of a Okayama situation, but tonight you got round the first lap. Everybody seemed very controlled, and then lap 2 happened. JB and Tony Walker. Everybody else aimed at the smoke in the theory that, well, if the smoke's there, the cars can't be. You and Sam Blees were the only ones that decided, do you know what, I'm going to exit stage right here and go around the outside at turn 3. And it worked out for you very well, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just opened up. Me and Sam both saw the gap and just went for it on the outside, and it worked well. And Miguel just got stuck in that train of cars all slowing down. He just had to pretty much stop not to hit the guys in front. So he was in the car park, and me and Sam were in the fast lane, which kind of helped. But he still caught back up to us from a couple of seconds back. He had great pace.
Well, you kept that couple of seconds gap for a little while. It was only when yourself and Sam caught Stephen that it started to properly concertina. Miguel was he the first one in the pits, or were you the first one in the pits?
No, so although we were all about the same pace, Rook was like maybe half a tenth a lap slower. So me and Sam were behind him. Sam was saving quite a lot of fuel, and I was doing a bit of it, but I was definitely feeling like I was being held up. And then when Miguel went from 2 seconds back to being like 0.8 back, I just thought, I'm going to pit. Instead of having Miguel hassling me from behind, I'm going to pit, get some free air, see if I can make a difference on Rook and Sam, and just see what I could do. And I had good clean air. I was able to run my laps. Came out still in front of Miguel when he pitted, which was good. I was a little bit surprised. Almost got Wook. I got closer to him versus from where I went into the pits, but didn't quite get the overlap. Despite having a lot of overspeed into the braking area. And then Sam saved a lot of fuel and took a couple of litres less than I did, so he got out in front of it.
Yeah.
I had a choice of either being hassled by Miguel before I pit or after I pit, and I chose to just go for the option that gave me the most control over my pace.
No, and it was probably the wisest of all the choices. And then towards the end of race 2, you all caught a particular back marker, Fiona, in a place where you wouldn't want to. According to Sam, she had a bit of a wobble going up through the S's, and on that little short shoot to the left-hander at the top of the hill. You all bottlenecked up. Sam probably got the best run of all of you. Or no, rather you did.
No, I did.
You all shot at the right-hand side. Miguel being the biggest loser there, but not the biggest loser of all of them. That was Stephen. And it gave you a second position, so you must have thought, manna from heaven, get all those rabbit's feet out of the boot, ready for Hockenheim. And yeah, second place.
I mean, I should change my Discord name back to Accepts Free Podiums.
Yeah, you should, yeah.
I think the thing that saved me was that I'd dropped about half a second back, trying to get a fast lap. And And because I was that little bit further back, I was able to see the gap that opened up on the outside, and I had a lot of overspeed. Sam came right over to defend the inside, which
Yeah.
is, fair enough. And I didn't have enough to. I didn't send it as hard as I could around the outside because I didn't want to throw it into the wall after avoiding a crash.
Yeah,
So I thought
totally.
I would just sit back in and see if I could make anything happen at the end of the straight, but it didn't, and I was fine with that. It was lucky that I picked up P2 instead of P4. I know that Wook came off the worst because his rear tire got caved in, and as soon as he turned the car just flipped on him.
You'll see on
So
the broadcast it was vicious.
yeah, so he was a bit annoyed with that. And like Fiona came in and apologized straight away, and these things do happen. Obviously, me and Sam were more okay with it because we didn't die.
Yeah, I mean, we'll speak to Fiona, no doubt, because we usually do. But as a back marker coming round that corner, there's not many places to put your car where it's not going to be a problem, is it? It was an unfortunate place to be caught.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If she'd had a normal run through the corner before and hadn't had a wobble, she would have been on the through that corner. We were fully expecting that we wouldn't catch her through that corner, but as it turned out, she was on the brakes on the apex, which just kind of, I guess, surprised everyone. Unfortunate, but yeah, these things happen.
Yeah. Well, Hockenheim even, is our next destination, and you
Are
like
you
that
sure?
track? Well, I'm not sure. It could be the centripetal circuit. What do you think?
It could be a reverse, yeah.
Reverse centripetal circuit. Sorry. Alan's busy laughing in the background. I don't know whether you can hear that.
Undoing the dizzy from the last time we raced.
Yeah, too right. You got to go backwards. There used to be a ride, one of those little tiny children's playground rides that we used to call the sick machine.
Are you allowed near it?
No, I've got a restraining order. But when I was illegally there, we used to spin ourselves around on this. You could sit 4 people on it, and you would definitely barf. And going backwards, doing it the other way, does not help. It just makes it worse.
No, it does not.
Okay, Hockenheim. I think you like that track, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun. I think you get good racing there, and it's fun to drive as long as you can perfect the turn 1 yeet and
Yeah.
and just straddle that curb without the off track and avoid the slowdown on the outside. You can gain 2/10 in that first corner if you just get it right.
Yeah. We're looking forward to that already. To be fair,
no, it's exciting. I love it there. It's great.
I've had lots of good races there in this league, in other leagues, in officials. It's always typically results in good close racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody you want to have a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate tonight's lucky or otherwise? What did you get? A third and a second?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys for doing the broadcast as ever, and to Sam and Miguel and to Wook for a good close race tonight. Very unlucky for Wook at the end there. He deserved second in that race, or at least to fight for it. But yeah, just as ever, everyone who watches and races, it's always great fun.
Yeah, well, looking to hand Stephen Walker his lucky underpants back. Gary Craig, everybody.
They're a bit brown, I think, after that.
Are they really? Okay. Might want to wash them before you hand them back then. Okay, fair enough. Cheers.
See you.
Good night.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, into the booth, and not usually on the bill of materials, as it were, is Alex Sevillano-Lado. Good evening.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, we don't get enough of you Hydro Race Racing Forces cars into the booth, so it's great having you in here. You do such a wonderful job for all our publicity in terms of Twitch and all the photos that you generate for the league.
Thank you.
So it's great to have you in the interview room. Bit of a baptism of fire for you this evening in terms of racing in this league. Did you have much practice before you got in behind the wheel before the race started for race 1 or not?
Didn't have much, but I had enough. So yeah, I did I don't know, 2 full stints before the race.
Yeah.
And practice also some starts, pit entries. I don't know, just everything to get familiar with the car. And yeah, I think it was enough.
Okay, fair enough. So in the first race, you got a 13th finish. Oh, you got the same in the second race as well. So at least you're consistent.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's a tough bunch, isn't it? They're very good at this car.
Yeah, honestly, I think like I was really surprised with my pace for quali on the race, but yeah, I'm just too inexperienced with this car. The first race wasn't really experienced. It was just I don't know, the mix of the fight. We got off. I got like a bit wide fighting with Jamie Jeffrey,
Yeah.
and yeah, he waited for me. That was nice from him. He didn't
Yeah.
have to because I think I could have left more space. Also, I had a lot of space on the outside, but just because I'm not so confident with the car, I was just playing it safe for me more than anything, and I didn't realize I was closing so much into the corner.
No, I mean these things are all lessons, aren't they? And you'll learn from that. You'll get to know the breaking points of the car better. I'm preaching to the absolute converted here because I know how fast you are in other cars. But yeah, it all leads to learning the car. You can't expect to be knowing everything about it right from the first press of the pedal and the first steer of the wheel. But yeah, Jamie Jeffrey waited an absolute eternity for your car to catch up with him. And you can only salute that. That was a beautiful bit of sportsmanship from Jamie. And I'm sure that he and you thoroughly enjoyed the battling because it went on after that as well. You were swapping positions after that incident. And eventually you came out on top of that pairing. I bet you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, sprint race was super fun. I had a bit of a disconnection. I don't know what happened. My audio went off for a whole lap.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden the audio came back, but everyone disappeared. And then I appeared behind Jamie, and then I appeared in front of him, and he was touching my bum, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. It was so weird, but I'm so happy. Like nothing weird happened.
Yeah,
We pretty much spawned next to each other. So yeah, that was crazy.
That sounds really bad, but
Yeah.
great that it didn't lead to anything more. It's been great having you racing. Hopefully you can do some more of these. Obviously there's no Freddie tonight. He's doing his own funky thing. But great having the Hydra Race Racing Forces cars in the league. I'm sure you can do better each race. That seems to be what happens when people join this league. And you got your setup from Sam Blees, I hear.
Yes. Yeah, I actually first when I tried it, I was not convinced because he was running the brake bias like really to the back of the car, and the sets I tried before were like quite like let's say 10% more to the front. So yeah, as soon as
10%. That's huge.
Yeah, it's enormous. So I couldn't drive it around. And then I just thought, okay, if they're doing it, I can do it. And I tried in the practice session before the race instead, and I just got used to it. And for instance, it was way faster. that way of like the driving styles was so much better these cars. So you just have to get used to it. And actually, yeah, 6/10 of the pole is super good for a first race. I was impressed.
No. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic, and obviously settled into the grid and enjoying yourself, and that's the whole point of it, really, isn't it?
It was super fun.
Yeah, we've enjoyed Freddie and his racing this season. It's been great. The cars look great. They've been performing excellently and given us a lot of pleasure. So one more on the track is very welcome, and I think you did great tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody you want to have a shout out to before we let you go and hopefully practice for Hockenheim, which is the next destination. Don't know what your ability to race there is, but anybody you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Well, you guys, especially Pete for fixing the livery. My girlfriend, she hates that I race, so her for supporting me, and also Demis. I think he got P8 again.
He did,
P8,
yeah.
so
that was good. Yeah, very good.
Best feature finish. Once
Yeah, you
again.
need to get him in here and chatting to us because he does this regularly. He features in the top 10, and we don't get to speak to him. So send him in, won't you?
I'll try to convince him.
Awesome stuff. In that case, we will let you go and hopefully practice for Hockenheim. And thanks for everything you do for the league because you do an awful lot. Those pictures that you, those images of the races that you produce are spectacular. Honestly, they are brilliant. And everything you do on the Twitter channels for BSTV is leading to greater coverage. So we stand in your debt, Alex, and great to see you racing with us once again on track. Alex Sevillano Lado, everybody.
See you guys.
Yeah, good night.
Okay, and let's see if I can do this. In her regular slot is Fiona Siddons, everybody. So good evening, Fiona.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, P.
Before we start, I've apologised in the interview rating room for those that came. I sent Steve a private message because he didn't go in there, but apologies to everybody on that last lap.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but from my perspective, and I'll let Alan have his, you can't be perfect on every lap. Nobody can. And with 4 super fast cars bearing down on you around Virginia, there's a number of places I'd want them to be approaching me. One is the start-finish straight. One is the back straight, or approaching the back straight through Oak Tree. Anywhere else on the track, I'd want them to not be anywhere near me. So you had them catch you, whether you had a wobble or not on the corner before. Probably one of the fastest, most uncomfortable corners on the track. Where could you possibly have gone that you didn't already put your car? I don't know. Their overspeed on your car was probably the catalyst for all of what happened. So I would consider you blameless, in my opinion. Don't know what Alan's perspective is, but that's certainly what Gary and Sam and some of the others that have been into the booth have said. So I wouldn't consider you at all responsible. It's just part of racing, in my opinion. Alan?
Yeah, yes. Well, I don't think. I think I'm just unlucky, and I don't think Fee had anywhere to go after.
No, of course not.
Just getting the previous corner slightly wrong and losing that bit of pace. So they just caught her at the wrong space. There was nowhere to go, and of course it was the overspeed. They go like the clappers, don't they, Fee? Honestly,
They do, yeah.
they just go so quickly, and the difference is between mine and your braking speed and their braking speed, the pace they go around corners, is just a world of difference, and it catches people out occasionally, and that's just part of racing.
Yeah, overtaking's all about the person behind overtaking the car in front safely and cleanly, and for me, that's also equally as part of it. So yeah, don't focus on that. Let's focus on everything else. So we saw you having a great tussle in the first race. You finished second off last in that one, 17th. On lead lap, yet again. We'll keep calling this out because it's a real result. Second race, you finished 14th. You had 4 cars behind you in that one. And we saw some brilliant racing and some great car control from you. You put up some reasonable resistance when people came to overtake you. Jamie Wilson was one of them. He came out of the pits right behind you, and we saw you racing and doing decent racing with him. And he eventually overcame you in turn 1. But it's been a pleasure to watch you race tonight. Tell us about your 2 races from your experience.
I don't know whether you saw it in race 1. I went on the grass on the start-finish straight, coming out the last corner.
Hogpan, yeah.
My headset was all steamed up, so I lifted it up to let some air in, and when I put it back down, I was on the grass.
Right. Hang on, do you race in VR?
I do, yes.
Oh my god. Right, okay. In that case, I'm even more impressed. So,
I can't race without it now.
Really? Oh my God! I tried it for not very much. I couldn't do it. It made me seasick or travel sick or whatever you call it. I struggled to be able to do anything. One of the funniest things I've ever experienced is racing with Clyde Whiting. When he, have I told you this one, Alan?
Probably not.
No. So we were racing. I don't know the track, but we were in V8s, and we were. I'm trying to remember the track now. I think it was Road America. He'll correct me, no doubt. But I just heard him scream out, like "ow" sort of thing. I was like, what's happened? What's happened? And he had he used to race in VR. He then switched to racing in triples again. But he had reached out because his leg itched, and he'd reached out to itch the leg that he could see, and it was the leg in his VR, and he'd end up punching his rig and nearly breaking his knuckles. So I only have respect for people who can manage to race in VR, because I found it impossible. I found it absolutely impossible. And yeah, I didn't realise that. So
people I do have these experiences I've known people who have, when you drive along and you put your elbow on the car, on the door.
Fall out of the car.
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, dear.
I know the first time I ever went into VR was in a GT3 car at Spa, and going up Eau Rouge, I lost it.
Oh dear.
And at 150 mile an hour, I was flying towards the barrier, and I had to brace in the rig.
Oh dear. Arms crossed over your chest and prayers to the Lord. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I can't do it. I can't race in VR. So I salute you fundamentally. I thought tonight was a thoroughly entertaining race from you again, and you've done really well points wise as well.
Oh, thank you.
Up 3 positions in the second race from your start position, and yeah, a great stable result. Hopefully you'll stay in the Sir Alan's Safe Driver Award, at least second, if not higher, because I think Jamie Jeffrey may have incurred some incidents along the way tonight.
Yeah, so did I.
Well, yeah, you had Stephen Walker try and insert his car into the boot of yours, so...
Oh, I got a 0x for that.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get a 0 and everybody else get a 4? What's that about?
It flashed up a 0x when...
Right. Okay. Well, maybe you got it lucky. Oh, Spencer McCarthy's on the chat then. Says it's like the V8 race from the other night. Yeah, it really is as well. But yeah, Hockenheim is next. Have you done many laps around Hockenheim? I'm guessing you have.
I've done loads of laps around Hockenheim, both in the TCR and the MX-5.
Well, in that case, you should be well heeled for doing some laps in this car. Let's see what you can achieve in terms of race position. But ultimately, it's all about staying safe and enjoying what you do. And as long as you're doing that, that's all anybody can ever ask.
Thoroughly enjoy it.
Great. In that case, we welcome you back for many more races with us. Anybody you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Everybody who's give up the spare time to sit and watch the racing tonight. You guys for putting it on. And a special shout out to Alan for doing his best to get me into the result team for MX-5s.
Have you been?
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you, darling.
Have you been influencing people, Alan?
Fiona's my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we may see you in a different set of colours then. Let's see what happens. But always great having you race with us and in the booth. It's always a pleasure, and we hope it continues for a very long time to come. Everybody, Fiona Siddons.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, lads.
Awesome stuff. Always great to speak to Fiona. And it'll be a shame to see that wonderful colour scheme go if she's folded into the result teams. But
well, she's hopefully going to go and sit in my squad in the MX-5.
Oh, right, that's cool. Yeah.
So I don't think it probably wouldn't affect the Mansfield and Matthews. I wouldn't think we would lose that.
I hope not.
It'd be a
'Cause
shame if we did, because we've got result representation in the league anyway, and I like to see the colours.
yeah, I like
But I'm
that
very
car
pleased.
scheme.
I'll be
That
very
colour
pleased
scheme's
if you
great.
can join me as my third driver in
Yeah.
my little MX5 squad.
Oh, well, that's nice. What day do you race that? Sundays?
No, it's Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, right?
It's
Okay.
UKSR.
Oh, okay.
United Kingdom sports car sim racers. We're awesome
Right.
league. It's really quality. We're actually recruiting at the moment. So if you know any really good drivers who like driving MX5s, get yourself along to Tuesday nights UKSR, because there's some really fantastic drivers in there, and the
Yeah.
race is very clean and very slick.
Right, I might have a look at that myself because I'm free on Tuesdays. Anyway, so tonight was an absolute blast, and I love Virginia. I like racing on it, and I love broadcasting it because it brings out the very best in racers and creates great drama because of all the little aspects of the track. I've had a thoroughly fascinating night, but we've got some real decision making to make, Alan. I know, sorry. I'm going to have to put you on the spot. So, Sam Blees, for me, has done a fantastic job. He's well up there for driver of the meeting. He got a second place in race 1 and a first in race 2. I think that is the most winningest. I hate that term. A small amount of vomit came up just then because it was very American. Very American.
It
Very winningest, the winningest person. Gary Craig has done very well, a second and a third. Miguel has done very well, a first and a third. Carl Hardy has been sneaky.
Yeah.
Carl Hardy, a 6th and a 5th and no, a 4th. Sorry, I stole a position from him. A 4th. He kept it clean. He let people pass when he needed to. There was some teamwork thing going on in the second race, which was later redressed. Rob Sharp, he did two. No, he didn't. He did a 5th and a 6th. That's really good racing as well. Lee Bowden didn't do so well in the second race. In the end, I don't know what happened there. To be fair, he got a 7th in the first race though. We saw some great sportsmanship tonight. Jamie Jeffrey, when he finished 5th in the first race, up 9 places. No, sorry, in the second race, up 9 places. And in the first race, Jamie Jeffrey was 14th. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to vote for a race winner tonight. I think I'm going to have to vote for Sam Blees. I think that was too good a strategy. He was in the right place at the right time, which is part of winning. Whether you plan it or not, whether you got lucky underpants or lucky brown underpants, it doesn't really matter. I think he's done a blinding job. And I think I'm going to have to vote for Sam Blees tonight. It was just too good. Too good.
Yeah, well, I think that's a very old shout. And, the way he set off in the first race, he was full of intent tonight. And we'd love to watch Sam race.
Absolutely.
He was smart. I think you're quite right to point out Cole's amazing performance tonight. He was really consistent and really, he didn't fancy his chances and he drove really well. He did. He was consistent in this incredible high-class, high-paced field. So I was delighted with that. But I think, and hats off to Jamie. But I'm going to give it to Gary. I thought he was fantastic tonight. He's stepped up his pace to be running with these Geo guys the way he's doing at the moment. I think, tremendous performance. When he was saying, there's nothing in the pace between me and Sam and Miguel. That's saying something.
It is, yeah. That's speaking volumes, isn't it? Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic, and I'll be very happy to give it to Gary tonight.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
That's a well spent vote. I just couldn't peel my logic away from Samblies. But yeah, Gary has done a spectacular job as well, and that is a well earned vote. He is very much becoming attuned to this car even more, and I didn't think that was possible. He's already fast in it. We saw it in the practice session. It's a great racing from both Sam and from Gary. They're both in the same shot, so that's always awesome to see on the broadcast. Right then, we look forward to Hockenheim.
Yes.
Let me just check where the Clios are, because I don't know. I'm not going to be racing. I've got real life things going on this weekend. So Clio's schedule. Brands Hatch Indy. Oh, that would be a good one as well. Damn
that's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
So that's this Friday. If you've never driven the Clio before, I suggest you do. Because
Come and join us on Friday. It's absolutely great.
it's just
We
brilliant.
could do with a few more on the grid, but there's some really great drivers, and that car is absolute delight on these short tracks.
It really is, and I think next season will attract a good field because it is running again. Keep attuned to the BSTV website and wait for it to get fully advertised, and you'll be able to sign up eventually for it. But that is a brilliant car to drive. It's a blast, to be honest. This series obviously goes to Hockenheim in a week's time. And then we've got a couple of weeks to wait before the next V8 race. So I'll talk to you about that next time. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to watch. We had loads of people on the chat. We even had Spencer McCarthy eventually.
That's great, isn't
I know,
it?
yeah. It's just stunning. He needs to come back and start fighting for the title again. But what a night's racing we had. So thanks to all the racers that turned up. We had a whopping 18, and in holiday season, that is no small amount. This is the summer, and we often see fields dip into, very sometimes, the single figures. And we're not seeing that this time, so that shows how good this league is. We will look forward to seeing you all next time. And a special thanks to Alan, of course, because without him, it's just me talking nonsense and none of the wisdom is there. So thanks to you, Alan, because it's always great having you in the booth with me, and I really appreciate it. It's a great way for me to spend my Wednesday evenings. I'll say goodnight, let Alan do his thanks and say goodnight, and bring the broadcast to a close. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you all next time.
Yeah. Well, my thanks to Pete, because of course he does all the work. I drink the single malt though, and I'm really quite good at that. I've got a lot of experience, and I really pace myself well now with that massive experience, and I'm ready for a refill, just perfectly timed. Thank you all very much, and I look forward to Hockenheim. It's going to be fantastic racing. We've had a great night tonight, and we're just going to get more of the same next week. It's another fantastic track. Bring it on.